Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Oh, there's 100 people out there that didn't think we'd be here this week. Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar.
Welcome to the party.
And Simon.
We're back. We're back, baby.
What we do here is incredibly stupid. We have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We've listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We are going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're not going to talk about each guest. The talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. Kamar, I know there's some return patrons. Some people wanted to see our downfall.
Isn't it just sick?
Yeah, it is sick. Yeah.
Isn't it sick?
Yeah.
The most reaction, and it's like, this is where the dumb Canadians come in. We see it in front of us, and we actually buy into it, and we see these people doing this outlandish thing, and that's what the people want: blood.
Yeah.
They want dirt. They
Yeah.
want shit. They
Yeah.
want the mess. Unbelievable, but yeah, well, if it makes some money, February weeks, let's go. Big shout out to
Kamar's like, this week I'm going to call Matt's mom a cunt. Like,
no, Matt. It's my baby. I'm sorry. And I'm taking your old TV.
Oh my God.
Tortuga, welcome to party.
shout out Tortuga.
Fuck you, Tortuga.
And the
I'm just joking.
And
Welcome,
the Austrian painter. I like where that
Austrian
sounds. I
painter,
really like
fuck
that.
yeah.
Now, is he an artiste or is he a house painter like me? You know
He's
what
saying
I'm
he's
saying?
Hitler, you stupid shit.
No way.
I just figured he was like a Austrian hitman.
Okay, man. Whatever.
Okay.
Bring it all. Bring it all.
Who famous from Austria painted?
I'm sure there's somebody. I don't know him though.
Adolf Hitler.
Did any of you
But
guys?
wait, why Adolf Hitler was from Austria?
Yeah.
He was I thought he was a Hungarian Jew. Austrian. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess.
Did you guys get your swastika shirts from Kanye before I pulled it down the site? I opened it up and it was still there, and I was hovering like, "Oh, this will be worth something one day." Like, but how do you explain it? Like, nobody had to be there. It was a thing at the time.
Well, hold on. Wait, what do you mean? How do you explain it? Like, Lemmy had like one of the world's largest Nazi paraphernalia collections.
No, but you don't. Yeah, if you kept it somewhere hidden, that seems guilty. You know what I mean?
Oh, listen, that's
If
way
you-
worse.
You're buying it just like you're buying anything else, like the thing. But yeah, there's no way. Or you wear it proudly. Like there's no way to get away with swastika.
He comes in so hot. He comes in with the I nearly bought the Kanye swastika.
Who did it?
I didn't.
Well, someone did.
Oh my god.
People actually bought it.
I'm not
Simon,
sure.
of course people bought it.
Shopify
Of
took it
course.
down. It was like $60 or $30. I don't know. Size was running out too, so I was just hovering over it now.
You know what I want to know is like, was it available in Germany?
No.
Right, because you break a law as soon as that thing gets shipped to you, right?
Yes.
If
100%.
you live in Germany,
100%.
yeah.
I don't know. I guess he can get away with it because he's not a German citizen.
No, but I just mean I understand that there's no law against him selling it.
Oh, no,
what
you-
I'm saying
you
is,
can't order
if you're a
Nazi
German,
paraphernalia.
if
Yeah,
you were
you-
a German citizen and you received that in the mail, have you not just broken the law?
Yeah, I think there's a problem with that.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't buy it, Kamar.
I don't know. I still have a bit
He
of
goes,
buyers.
"I don't
I still
know."
have a bit of buyer's remorse. We'll see. No, but if in 2 years someone sells one of those for $3 million, I'll be like, fuck.
Well, that's actually a good. I was going to ask you that, Simon. What if 5 years from now that shirt's worth like $4,000?
It's still bad.
Well, buyer's remorse, man. What can I tell you?
You said $4,000.
Simon's like, thank God I bought 5.
It's. I just don't see that being ever worth money
Yeah, I don't think
because you can't display it. You can't. You know what I mean?
That was his point. And like having it in your sock drawer, if someone found it, would be even weirder.
Yeah. Like, did you guys watch The Watchmen?
No.
Yeah. Anyways, there's the scene like that. They open up this guy's secret compartment and he's got, this Nazi outfit.
Like I said, I remember the Lemmy documentary. You're like, this guy just seems so down to earth. Seems
The Motorhead guy?
yeah. You're like, he seems so normal, and then he's like, I gotta take you to my apartment in East LA, and you get in the apartment, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, dude, like the whole like wall to wall Nazi paraphernalia, and he's like, it's not a big deal. I just like World War II, and you're like, yeah, which side? Like,
Yeah, there is, but there's a difference if you're English and they bombed you and you killed them and you got all their stuff. I'm sure there's those people that they're almost like scalps versus
Who brought back like a Nazi helmet from the war.
whatever.
That's different than like, having fucking wall-to-wall swastika wallpaper.
Oh, wow, absolutely. I don't know about Lemmy, but rest in peace.
Is he dead?
I believe he's dead. Yeah, he probably died deaf too.
That mole is probably still
That
alive.
mole is definitely still alive, dude,
But
and kicking.
Is this just Elon like trying to be relevant in some way? Is that...
Kanye did the show.
Or
It's not
sorry,
Elon.
sorry.
Kanye?
Dude, that was a crazy Freudian
Kanye?
slip.
Yeah.
Kanye.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Album coming. Did you see what he did for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, the ad. Yeah,
Like $40 million to be high on gas, saying, I got these teeth. And like, it's horrible, but
all
maybe
that
it's genius.
But all that to sell a. Well, here's the thing. I would agree with you fully if he was selling anything other than a swastika T-shirt. Like if that link went to an album that was $5 to download and he sold $100 million
he
worth.
forgot the part 3.
Well, he just forgot the important part to
he created a bunch of smoke, but had nothing to sell.
Yeah.
Sizzle with no steak.
No, you made a good point. It's like if the magician is like, poof, and there's a massive puff of smoke, and then the smoke disappears, and he's still standing there.
Ta-da.
All right, come on. We want to go over the guest list so we can do what the stupid shit
Oh,
we
I'd
do
love
here.
to, Maddie. Thanks for asking. Oh, yeah, I forget. Join the Patreon. That's why we did the shout-outs. Leave like and subscribe. Leave a comment on the YouTube. It gets feisty sometimes. We start off this week with 2270 Bridget Phetasy, the host of Dumpster Fire, followed by 2271 John Reeves, the Bone Man. Then we had 2272 End of the World, Mike Benz. I guess not End. Then we finish off 2273 with the Podfather, Adam Curry, who really gives hope because he's the vibrant 60 you hope you can be, regardless of beliefs or anything like that, I think.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. But you have to believe in God or else.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah. God, I hate this show.
Tell us how you really feel, man.
No, this week I was like, fuck this guy, fuck this show. I don't know. Like, I can't give this week higher than a 2.5. That's impossible. There's one great episode that you need to listen to, and then the
That's,
rest
like,
are absolute, probably just
incredible.
dog shit. I mean, Curry has some redeeming qualities. 2.5.
Zero redeeming qualities.
Well, no, he nearly got to Wins a Change. We almost got there. That's half. That's
No,
at
I mean,
least one
we-
full point, correct?
That was something. That was like...
Well, we did.
That was something.
We
We-
almost
we
got
got there
because
twice.
you did not get the back end by him saying the name, but he could have
No,
uttered.
he got there. He did everything, but he hummed the
mentioned
song wrong.
No, but he didn't mention the podcast. Like, Joe, you could just go listen to
Oh,
this
yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
That would have helped
He
too.
obviously doesn't know that podcast.
I'm talking about Mike
exists.
Benz.
But Mike Benz didn't get there.
No, Mike Benz started going over contracts in situations
Yeah,
that
yeah.
could have.
I was screaming at the fucking...
Let's get to
It was like watching the DVD symbol bounce around.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for it to hit the perfect
It doesn't
corner.
ever.
I give it 2.6.
Simon, what do you rate it?
I don't know, a 2 maybe. I think
A 2 maybe. Okay,
It's,
yeah.
It's
heavily
the rest
weighted.
of the week is bad.
Yeah. Okay, fire it up, Kumar. I'm going to get my fucking tea. I'm going to sip my tea aggressively.
2272 Mike Benz
This episode was fucking bonkers.
is a former official with the U.S. Department of State and current executive director of the Foundation for Freedom Online. And this is his second time on. And do you wonder about what's in it for him?
I don't think anything's in it for him except putting a giant fucking target on his
Yeah, so he has some sort of
scalp.
hero complex.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's a hero complex. I guess he just feels like he has to do that. Yeah, it is weird.
He's
Eh?
doing the right thing.
It's weird to do the right thing.
Well, no, I wonder about, like, just as a comparison, Edward Snowden.
Well, there was nothing in it for Snowden either.
So Snowden's working at a job, and he sees this going on and thinks that this should be brought to people's attention because now looking back on it, no one cared. He must have got something.
Yeah, kicked out of the U.S.
He said it's my duty as an American citizen to
expose
bring
something that no one will give a shit about.
Well, he didn't know that. I'm sure he thought it was going to be a really big deal. If
Hold on.
he
Also,
doesn't,
to say no one gives a shit about it that's a bit. I think that's weird. What do you? How about this?
Okay,
What do you expect the average American to do when they get that information from Snowden?
no,
what
it's just
do
like
the
now
American
you
people do?
know.
Well, no, I mean
But should you not know as an
January
American
6th.
citizen?
No, you should
January
know.
6th.
Okay.
A January 6th type, like, bring these people to account. Where's our records? Promise us our privacy. I mean, that's on the extreme level, but nothing happened. I mean, it was, the biggest thing was the media and politicians talking about it, how this guy's a traitor and stuff, because it would have gone away much faster than them trying to go after him. I don't know what change it made. It brought attention to Julian Assange and ruined his life. Again, I don't know, maybe you didn't hear, I was just asking, is there some sort of motive in Mr. Benz, or is he just, he feels his duty as an American? Or is he's saying what he knows as much as he thinks he can know? As we know, if these people are talking about the numbers are talking about, people could be killed.
Are you suggesting that like is there monetary gain in it for him?
Sure.
From who?
Let's get that out of the way, and then we can take what he says.
I don't think
on a
is he
more credibility.
I mean, maybe did he write a book?
Did he write a book? Well, he runs this foundation institute.
So maybe he'll get people to donate to the.
Is he getting money from?
I don't think he's doing this for the money. You'd have to be crazy to.
Well, hold on. First off, it's 2025, so there's nothing you do in the public eye that won't result in monetary gains.
No. I'm saying it's not the driving force deciding whether he's going to like risk his life to bring this information forward. I don't think it's for the cash.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that I don't think anyone in this day and age, I don't think you can not have it in the back of your mind that like.
Okay, but like, not Julian Assange, the other one,
Snowden.
like there was $0 in that for him.
That's a long, I mean, that's almost,
Until he writes his book, I guess. But I don't think you make a lot of money off books anymore. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I'm not talking about a book. I just mean like.
But who's paying fucking?
He's just a good guy. He's just a good guy.
Well, I think we don't get it because we're not like as patriotic as the States, I guess. But maybe when you work for the government like that, or for the military, or for whatever, you take those fucking oaths seriously.
Well, I think any oath that you take, you should probably take seriously, just as a general
Yeah,
rule of
we
thumb.
just don't take oaths, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think I've ever taken an oath.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe.
All I mean is we wouldn't understand because we're not in the military. We're not in an organization that requires that kind of dedication. You know?
You got married. You swore an oath, didn't you?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. But it wasn't an oath. It was.
It's kind of an oath, is it not?
But we didn't do a religious wedding.
Okay,
We did
fair
a
enough. No, but
non-denominational wedding.
okay, but you still make a promise that is somewhat an oath, is it not?
Yeah. Sure.
Like outside of religion, like even if you don't have a religious wedding, I'm sure there's some sort of spiel where you're like, I promise to be there and take care of you. And
it's
that's
not. Yeah. It wasn't the oath I was talking about. But I
Sure.
get you.
I was just trying to. You asked the question, and I was like, I don't think I have. I guess you have once. I mean, listen. Let's just say that you take Snowden out of this, and you're like, I'm trying to show that the U.S. taxpayer is losing all its money to bullshit. I think there is some. I mean, he's a taxpayer in that country. And he probably has kids, right? So you want the best for your kids. You don't want them to grow up paying half of their money to go to like bullshit.
Yeah. I don't think
But
that's.
if you found out Snowden got $1 million from Russia when he got there in a house, you'd be like, well, that's more than be accommodating to this guy. That might change your idea of what his motive is. We're getting caught up in this.
No, but you're suggesting that Trump is paying him.
Well, he's very pro-Trump, and so he it's just either Trump's decisions are coinciding exactly what this guy has said has to be done.
But he could be pro-Trump because he might have known about this for years and no one wanted to do anything about it. And then Donald Trump comes along and is like, I'll do something about it.
What I will say is I'll reference back to the interview with the president of Argentina with Lex Friedman. And he said, if you want it, and he did the exact same thing to cut the budget, getting rid of departments. Remember, he was walking with a chainsaw. He said, you have to do it fast. And what they're pushing back is saying, well, no, we've got an oversight committee and this and the hearings delegation. And then the bureaucracy gets back in. My only criticism of Benz is he's a lot of metaphor because he doesn't want to call the industrial complex, so he refers to it as the blob. And then he'll use a lot of medical terms to, I don't know. I don't know if it was lost on me, maybe. But according to him, when you watch a movie and there's some shadowy guy in it, and they're like, are you CIA? It's like, sure I am. It's USAID. Anything where they're...
What he said was anything that is too dark for the CIA to do, USAID steps in.
And on top of that, when it's said humanitarian or whatever, then it's an influence or a push or a whatever that they are trying to achieve.
But here's where I got so lost is like, on one hand, he was saying, this is why we have it so good, that we go out and strong arm other countries. This is why we have the resources.
This will hurt us.
Yeah, that's where I really got lost is maybe I just misunderstood what he was trying to say, but I took it as him saying like, our foreign policy for the last 100 years has been to strong arm any and everyone. Every other country out there is either a benefit to us or fuck them. And these are the instruments that we use to do it. And we don't want the American public to know that we're doing this because it's getting our hands dirty where they don't. Ignorance is bliss, right? We've all agreed with that. Like the less you know, the better. And so if they're saying, listen, you have paved roads and food stamps because we have our foot on Ethiopia's neck. Again, I just using whatever. That's through USAID, is it not? And like dismantling that.
Sorry, everything you said is 100% accurate, I think.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
But
my problem is he's now saying like, this is a problem and we have to tear this down. And I can sit here and say from a humanitarian level and from we're all supposed to be in this together, they should. What I'm saying though is it's a weird juxtaposition of like the US became super powerful partly because of these dark, weird, shady dealings. And he's now saying like,
well, no, I won't agree with that because
okay, fair enough.
He said this was created in 1961 by JFK.
Yeah.
So they were already powerful before this was created. So the intention was good there when it was created. And then...
Yeah, but you could point any government department.
But and then the church committee happens, which we don't talk about, but I guess was the exposing of Project Blue Beam, all these things. And it was like, this is what the CIA is up to. And then at that point, that's when these operations, or whatever you want to call them, got co-opted into USAID. They said, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to do it under this thing. And we've often said maybe the reason that everyone doesn't like America is because of all the meddling they do.
Oh, of course. I agree with that, yeah.
And when, we'll jump over a lot around here, but when he talks about, because we always think it's just the military dropping bombs on someplace for the oil.
No, we've for 6 years we've been saying it's the CIA, which
well,
technically we were right. We just didn't know there was a shadier organization.
We didn't know the aid organization going in there was actually doing this and giving pamphlets to everyone that they gave the malaria shot to write a rap song about hating your government or whatever it is, just as a loose example. And we on the outside would see that as we wouldn't, but someone would think of it as, oh, that's a good thing they're doing. But the locals may see it for what it is. Right from the get-go and not think it is humanitarian aid. And then all I think about is the embezzling of money as it gets further and further away. And that's the problem with all these things. And does the money ever even get to the aid part, or does it all just get lost in the propaganda part?
No, well, first of all, what this guy's saying is there is no aid part anymore. That's been gone for the better part of 70 years. That's what he's saying. that the aid isn't there. What you're missing is what he's saying is like the aid isn't meant to aid the country. The aid is meant like we're gonna go in and we're gonna.
This is siphoning money. It's that's what they're doing.
But
Yeah, it's all the dark ops that
But
you
wait,
hear.
sorry, just back to something you were saying before. He wants to take this system down.
he wants it cleaned up.
So he's fine with, like he's saying, America has been built up on dirty money and now we should clean it up.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like by tearing this whole thing down,
Will it
they
be
will
cut
lose
off your face,
they will
spite your nose
lose
or
their
whatever?
stronghold on the earth that they have. Like their whole deal is like, oh, you don't want to let us put a base here? Well, guess what? We're going to fuck up some sort of piece of infrastructure. We're going to do something to make your country worse. And so you have to deal with us. And that I'm saying that what he's saying is they do this through these shady back dealings where it's like, no, we're it's dentistry for kids. And in reality, it's like, oh no, we blew up their dam because they wouldn't let us build a base there. Again, these are loose examples that I have no.
But that's one instance, and this is from CNN. Is they were discussing, because I was calling it last week, pearl clutching, and Joe said it. I don't know if he said in this episode or the Curry episode, but the real thing is, well, someone's going to get AIDS tomorrow because you cut off the funding today, or someone's information exposed. That's the real consequences thus far, not losing power or anything, which you think they talk about, but maybe that's another thing. But that's just for famine or that. There's also situations where they decide the judges. Like, what does that have to do with it? Do you know what I mean?
No, what are you talking about?
U.S. aid when it comes to relief to some place like that is one thing, but influencing who becomes judges and the legal system and the parties in power has nothing to do with, I don't know, aiding the world.
Yeah, but that's what he's saying. He's saying is this thing is set up so that on paper it looks like aid, and in reality, it's not. It's bettering the U.S. through hurting other countries.
And you're saying,
and making people a lot of money in the fucking.
of course,
Yeah.
Well, that's always the.
well, that's what I think. I think that's why there's all this noise about it, the constitutional crisis and whatnot, is because a lot of people are losing their money, not because the reputation or the strength of America is at stake.
Well, and I don't think what gives, yes, they had to go in there and get these strongholds. They have those now. And they also have a military that outnumbers every other military 10-1. You know what I mean? They can still go and strong arm people. They can still go and demand these countries, let them come in with their aid.
And they have to go to old school CIA doing it and getting slapped and having its wrist slapped.
Well, won't they just make a new thing and call it something else? You know what I mean?
Well, hold on. So yes, that's what I was going to get to. Is like I said this to you before. Like, okay, great. Donald Trump's in power for 4 years, and even if the next
Maybe he'll be in power for 12 years.
What is
No,
the
dictators in the house.
Yeah, you can't be happy about that.
No. I can joke about it because it's not going to happen.
I think that NASA is going to be the new one that they're going to pump all the money into, and that they'll just throw a different name on it. We have to come here because in order to get to Mars, we have to use your piece of land because it's right underneath the perfect time to launch a fucking thing.
I mean, the weirdest thing about all this is like, Elon Musk is involved in this. And I'm not talking about Doge. I mean, like they found this week that like the Pentagon had ordered $400 million worth of armored Teslas and they had labeled it as food. I can't remember what it was. So like again, Elon Musk, it's weird that he's involved in this because he gets more government grants than most people.
My only thing is, and just do this as a thought experiment, is he can't want money.
That's
Right?
not true.
No, he wants power.
Again, well then his intention, but he can't, there's no way he can be doing it for money. He has the most money in the world. It can't be, I need more money.
Well, hold on. Wait a minute. You act like Saudi princes aren't after more money.
No, but, okay.
Whoa, hold on. Answer that though.
Saudi princes are after more money, so they
No, not that's it. That's end of story. They have the most money, like Elon Musk, and they still want more money.
But I mean, I think that's the sickness, right? Is you can have $400 billion and still want more
What
money.
I'm saying is the options are Elon honestly thinks that there's a system that can be implemented to run government more smoothly that will make America a stronger country, or if I get in here, I can make Elon a lot more money. And hopefully, if no one notices, they won't associate with me. Because despite people saying it's not transparent, if everything goes tits up, it's all his fault. And it's not hard to point a feeling.
It's all Elon's
Finger.
fault?
If America comes out this better and stronger and they clean up the social problems, just say. And it's all because the government was this bloated machine that wasn't working efficiently and he fixes it. I mean, that's worth any amount of money in the world. But I just don't think he's doing it. I think he honestly thinks he can fix it. Again, we don't agree on how we think on Elon.
I have no problem with a Doge operation.
But the idea of 6 hackers, like, it's right out of the movies.
Why
Okay,
does
but
it
hold on.
have to be Elon is my point. Like, have Doge and let them go in there and do their job. Why
Well,
does
how
Elon
about
have
this? How
anything
about-
to do with
How
this?
about this, though? Well, like I said last week, I think Elon is a distraction, so you can hate on Elon more than Trump. If Trump was just doing this and it's some guy you never heard of, then like, who is these people? But
But can I ask you a question? Like you just said, he has these 6 super hackers. You're regurgitating what him and Joe have told you. You know nothing about these 6 super
oh
hackers,
no,
right?
the left wing media is critical of all of them, saying this is irresponsible. I'm trying to tie it in.
No,
with
I'm not asking about I asked you.
Everyone is not just Joe. This is the facts. There's these. They're all these 6 guys.
Hold on, you just said they're facts. How do you know that these guys, like, what do you know about these 6 super hackers?
One guy was fired for racist tweets that he did when he was 14, and
Okay.
Elon went on the thing and said reinstate him or do one of his polls. I don't know if he got reinstated. Another guy just won a prize because he was the first. There was a contest to decipher burnt scrolls from.
Yeah, he used AI to do it. I
He
know.
used AI to do.
Yeah.
That's one of the guys. They exist.
Yeah.
Like,
Can I ask you a question though? So these guys are super hackers. They're young, obviously, right? Do you know that most of the government stuff is run on like super archaic code?
So it's easy. Anyone could do it.
No, it's actually no. It kind of goes beyond that. Like here, let me give you an example. There's this super nerd hacker that I follow on YouTube. He's the biggest fucking nerd on earth, and his dad is like apparently one of the best coders hackers ever. So Elon's whole security, you know how Social Security, he's like, from what we can tell, there's people that are 150 years old
Collecting
collecting
social
Social
security.
Security.
It's scam.
And again, me listening to that, I was like, if that's happening, I would be livid as an American.
But that's the propaganda.
Well, it could be. See, the part, I'm not going to sit here and say it's propaganda. What I'm saying is like, I don't know these 6 super hackers. I don't know any of their background other than the couple of things that I've read online. Just as an example, okay? So this guy said, the Social Security runs on COBOL, COBOL, which, this is quick, Simon, which does not use date or time type. So the date is stored as a number using the ISO 8601 standard. And the way that works is that if it has a value of 0, it's so hard to explain. It's so stupid. If you don't know the date of something, it will be a 0 value, which is COBOL will default to 1875, which is 150 years
So
ago.
they're not. That's not true at all. But it's true.
This is what I'm saying is like, I'm not saying these hackers aren't great. What I'm saying is like, they could be so far advanced that they don't know about this old shitty coding system that they're using, this archaic government coding system, which again could be a problem in and of itself. But because they don't know how to read it, they're going to Elon and saying there's 1 million Americans that are 150 years old that are collecting Social Security, when in reality, they could all just be 65 to 70-year-olds legitimately collecting Social Security. Now, again, I'm not saying they're going in and cutting those people off. I'm just saying that all the rhetoric from both sides is really clouding. It's
Clouding.
It's muddying the water so that we can't. Neither side can really know whether what's being done is correct or not.
I should have called them whiz kids, and I think it's like, of course, that's how you do it. You wouldn't bring a bunch of old people and stuff. Again, the one thing that I'm looking forward to is this is so big, it's either going to work or not. And they'll have the ham on their face. And
Listen, Trump in his first term said he was going to drain the swamp. You know, you've been holding on to that this whole time.
I love
eh?
it, yeah.
Okay. He said he was going to drain the swamp. And we were all like, yes, drain the swamp. And he never did. And now he seems to be draining the swamp. My question still remains the same. Why is Elon involved?
I really, maybe he lies about video games, but I think he's like the effective type of autistic.
Also, I gotta ask, like,
You don't think there's another person in America that could do that job besides Elon? Like, for real, you think he's the only one who can go in there and find out where the waste is?
I wonder why it took to this then.
Because it took for Trump. It has nothing to do with
Okay,
Elon.
why? No, but why didn't Biden bring in Sam Bankman-Fried?
Because
to
they
do
don't
this?
want, they didn't want to know. They were happy because all that glut was somehow coming back as kickbacks into their pocket.
Okay,
Whereas
back to
voters,
your
I
question.
don't even fucking
back
know.
to my romanticism. Elon's the only guy because he, for sure, is the only person who does not care about money. He does not need to make more money.
so Kamar, I'll pull it up at the break.
you can believe
I'll
that.
pull it up at the break if I can find it. A gentleman who used to work very closely with Elon, who considered himself a close friend with Elon's, he went out on X this week and wrote this scathing, like 19 tweet thing about Elon. He's like, I know this guy. None of you do. He's like, you guys know the persona. You guys have seen him on Joe Rogan. You've seen him whatever. He's like, yeah, it has nothing to do with money. But he's like, this guy is an ego fucking maniac. And it's about
Are we all though?
No, we aren't all.
Just hold on one sec. So you can agree at least that electric cars are a total fraud.
No, they're not going to save the planet, but they're cool.
No, but they're definitely not going to save the planet.
Yes, I can. Agree with
Okay.
that.
Well, hold on, wait. Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll let you finish your point.
So we know that Elon made a product that he touts as something that's going to save the planet. Like, he did that for money. He didn't do it for the benefit of society.
He probably thought he was.
You think? Like, he's the
Just like-
smartest guy in
just
the
like-
world.
Just like he's an anti-vaxxer, but at the very beginning, I don't even remember of the pandemic, he started making respirators. Like, he bought in. He's the smartest, richest man in the world. Believe what they said, and we know it turned out the respirators were actually more harmful. But he shipped all these respirators. Like, he's not immune of.
If you're going to start an electric car company from nothing, or I guess you're going to buy an existing company and build it into whatever, spend a lot of money on it, you got to think you're going to get, like, I just don't think he's doing that for altruistic reasons.
Yeah, well, people think that electric cars will save the planet. Then, ergo, if I take on this struggling electric car company and convince people that these cars are going to save the planet, I'll sell lots of cars.
Yeah,
look,
exactly.
But you've got to say he is a smart guy. You just have to say that.
Sure.
Elon Musk is a smart man.
He's very good at the
Okay, you
business.
can't
he's
say
doing.
it.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna go back to what Simon's saying. Is I can say Elon Musk is a smart man.
Yeah.
I can say that there are probably 100,000 people in the U.S. as smart as Elon Musk.
Yeah, and
No, but his point, so just hear me out. His point is like, remember when Kavanaugh was up for Supreme Court,
Supreme Court judge.
and he
That's
a
lied.
good
Remember,
one.
and he lied.
About the drinking
he
beer,
lied about
ball
and
thing
again,
or something.
and again, at the time, it's like it's a weird little lie. But to me, it was like he's willing to go in front of Congress and lie.
Just bring in someone else
And
who's
so
as good.
My whole thing was there's a guy second in line who isn't going to lie.
okay, there isn't.
So if we're going to bring somebody in to clean up the government, which is what they're doing, to expose the lies and expose, you need to get a guy who's clean. And Elon, like, we all know anybody
one is
who's,
clean.
but anybody who's a billionaire, you know as well as I do, you can't do that being clean. Like,
Well,
that's
I would-
just,
I would
you
say-
can't
I
make
would
that
say
type
that
of
you-
money being clean.
A name, I don't remember his name, but if you remember the guy who was the heavy metal weirdo in The Big Short.
Yeah, Michael Burry.
So that's a guy. I'm just, if you guys had anybody that you're like,
No, well, Mike, you just brought up a good one there. He's really good with numbers. You could technically, if you were inclined, if you were Trump and you were inclined, you could go to a Michael Burry and say, "Hey, you're really good with numbers. You're good at spotting inaccuracies in like the books. Why don't you?" I'm just saying.
that guy's dirt on me, went to jail or whatever for insider trading. I'm just saying, actually, what was I thinking about? Two thoughts. It would be wicked if it was the guy. Or how about this? Is Elon sort of like the guy in A Beautiful Mind?
The guy writing on the glass.
No, he's not.
Because that guy was really smart with numbers. I can't believe after you've heard 6 hours of him talking that you heard anything when he's talking about Joe about, I don't know, not having good intentions.
Can I ask you a question? And I'm not trying to put you down here at all. But like after Jordans and Hotep Jesus and like, do you not feel at this point like a good salesman or a nice smile and do you not feel like maybe you could be had by someone who is
Absolutely, I get had all the time, but I equate Elon getting involved here to where the hell did Bill Gates come into the COVID?
No, I agree.
Agreed.
The exact same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. No, but-
Totally. And we said, hey, Bill Gates, fuck right off. You know what I mean? You don't have a place in this.
But there will be results from this.
I think I agree. I totally agree. And I don't think it's a bad thing to go in there and clean up a broken system. Anybody would get the results. He's going to get the praise because he got put in a position to fix something that was broken.
I can't tell you why Elon is the best person suited to do this. The guy we're talking about.
Did you see him in the White House, by the way?
Yeah,
I thought
it was frank and earnest. I saw another guy break it down as how Elon was basically rubbing his nuts on Trump's head, like all the angles.
the kid telling Donald Trump that he should shut up is hilarious, and then picking his nose and wiping it on the desk for what the heck? Just bringing that kid in there is such a fucking flex. It's insane.
Yeah, but watch 7-year-old Simon watching that kid X be king of the world and just losing his mind.
Well, Kumar, I'd like to ask you a question though, because like back to you were asking about Elon Musk and like it can't be money. That's what you kept saying. It can't be money.
No, it can be. It can be, but you could argue or see why he doesn't need money.
Yeah, I think so. Again, I think given that the three of us are poor, and I'm not trying to be rude to any of the three of us, I'm using us in comparison to Elon Musk. We're obviously no one of the three of us understands how like real riches work. I have a feeling most of Elon Musk's money is tied up in stocks of the company he owns.
Well, that's what we know it is.
Of course, that's what makes him rich. So I guess my pushback to you would be like, he needs people to think he is the super genius that you're saying he is. He needs all the shareholders need to have the utmost faith in Elon Musk. And I'll tell you why. Because a normal car company, a successful car company that's been in business for 100 years, they get thousands of cars off the line a day. Thousands. Elon Musk, they sell 200,000 cars a year. And their stock is valued at $400 a share.
It's like they put out just enough cars so that you see some on the road. Yeah. So you believe that this is actually a legitimate car company. Anyways, let's not stuck on Elon.
Just one last thing in closing though. Like Elon, he has Joe out here talking about, the Tesla trucks and the difference the Tesla trucks will make and all the dude, we're about 5 nuclear power plants off of what Joe's talking about. So let's say 40 years conservatively. We don't have the grid for the roads in the US to be covered in automated Tesla trucks.
You don't have the batteries. They
That's
don't
my point.
have
I
the
know.
batteries. Like this is a non-starter.
Yeah.
Until he can come out and tell me how they're going to keep a supply of something that is limited.
Okay. We got to put a pin in this.
Fine.
I believe this is a statement that we will live to know whether he was good or bad. I would say Benz doesn't think he's bad for this. He equated it to open heart surgery. So, you have to kill the person to operate on them or whatever. So that obviously that's what's happening when you're freezing funding and doing stuff. So it isn't, again, as alarmist as the news would tell you or something. There was a thing on CNN. They said that the judge or whatever, there's still money is going. Like USAID, they took the name of the building, but there's still money going out to food or stuff. So it's not as crazy as people say. I think the real rubber will hit the road if there's a real audit. And again, you guys will say he shouldn't be anywhere near there of the Pentagon.
Well, the last time that happened, we lost, 6 buildings in New York. So it'd probably be best that they didn't audit the Pentagon.
Which was...
No, I'm just saying. I don't want to be that guy.
That's interesting, but they also said Osama bin Laden was funded by USAID. And it's so crazy.
But that would totally make sense then. Dude, that's crazy.
But
am I wrong?
I don't know. Were they doing, and that's what they were doing?
It has nothing to do with Elon. I have to say his name, but it has nothing to do with him. So I'm never stuck on him. But I've seen other people say it. The interest payments on the debt is more than the budget for the military. And it's
We've known that for a long time.
We know.
Yeah,
so
that's not
it's
that's nothing new.
Elon.
Yeah.
But that Dave Smith talks about it, and it's at like about 9 years they're out of money. Even all the shenanigans they've done.
The what?
Shenanigans, the whatever.
So is this what he's doing with these tariffs then? Is he imposing all of this to get money because he knows on the back end they're going to be fucking losing money hand over fist?
The one narrative,
The government, if that's what's keeping the government afloat, is all these...
No, it's not keeping the government afloat. It's actually sinking the government. That's what Kamar is saying. All this U.S. aid stuff is actually crippling their country.
yeah, it's like rocks on a turtle trying to swim. So they're trying to take off some of the rocks. The tariffs. Now, this is the narrative they'll tell you is because he wants to do these big tax breaks as well. So while you're cutting all this money, so you're saving money here, you charge all these monies, and not all the money
But wait,
to other
that's,
countries.
That's true though.
Sorry.
He does want to do that. He wants to eliminate income tax and through tariffs. That's not they are saying
No,
that.
he asked why. No, but
But you just painted that like the media was trying to paint this weird thing Trump was doing. He is literally trying to eliminate not so much the IRS,
he's saying he's doing it because of fentanyl and loose borders.
yeah.
So that's what that's his lie,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, listen, here's, Simon talked about how when Trump came in, his big thing was drain the swamp. That actually wasn't his big running point. What was his first big running
Build
point?
the wall, build the wall.
Build the wall. Now, if he had, no, but this is a good example. And I'm not trying to, like, he's in power. I wish him the best. But at that time, Kamar, if he had built the wall, would he have not eliminated half the problem that he has right now? Like, if he had come through with that.
Theoretically, the whole problem. Huh?
Well, no, half of his problem is immigration. The other half is the government waste, I'm saying. Yeah. The other thing I'm concerned about, Kamar, is this, and I don't know if you've thought about this. If this does work, it's all going to be undone in 4 years, and they're going to say it didn't work.
Well, no. If it does work, then J.D. Vance or whoever Trump bequeaths does the Kamala Harris says, actually, I bequeath this guy, will win.
Well,
But we don't know.
In theory, also,
and it's only undone if a Democrat gets in.
and it's only undone if the Democrats get their shit together, because they don't even have they're the pro clutches right now. There isn't Kamala doing speeches every night. How it is so destructive and really communicating a message, and it doesn't matter what's true or not anyways, but none of them are getting through to anyone about how destructive this is. And for an example, I was going to do this a post, Joe, but they just realized that they fired 300 guys or girls that are actually really important for nuclear missiles.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And and this is the thing where if you're saying they can't do this, you're right, they can't do this. But again, you have to do it and hope that you don't fuck everything up. But that's a
But Kamar,
collateral damage.
But I go back to like, I think it's this is the thing is like, I'm not against the
You
plan.
just don't see it. You think I don't see how this works if this is how business works.
No, what I'm saying is like, okay, things have to normally for government to work well, you need like bipartisan support. For it to work the easiest, right?
Smoothly. Well, no, you need no parties at all.
Or sure, I guess, yeah, dictatorship. My point is like, if you're just infuriating the other side, I don't think we're getting that far, right?
But what I'm saying, the message is the U.S. government is saying these programs are winning the hearts and minds of these people to win the hearts and minds of Americans. But it may be those people don't like it at all. And it's actually, we've talked about welfare and stuff being like enabling.
Yeah.
And some of these systems may not be broken. Like, again, they should be like the homeless thing is a 6-year program, because when we're done, there'll be no more homeless people. But it seems like these programs are all just to always be needed.
I don't get this. We fired 30 people who are essential to our
300.
nuclear
It was 300.
What, even if it's 30, and that's just collateral debt. That's insane. What are we talking about here? Then what they're doing isn't the best way to do it.
I mean, Simon brings up a good point.
Yes, but the other way takes 300 years and costs.
Well, hold on. Maybe there's a combo of the two where you're not using the nuclear people and you're focusing more on like the aid people.
Maybe there is.
No, but I mean, in Simon's defense, he's bringing up a good point. Like, if your idea is we need to cut all the fat from government, I think in theory, how I would do it is I would start with the places that I felt were the least detrimental to the country.
Yeah, and
So,
maybe
like-
not national security ones, just in
Okay,
case.
How about
just
this?
in case.
It's so fucking disgusting. You don't realize that.
No, I get it. It's very
And
intertwined.
You rip this
Yeah.
up and that rips out the plumbing, and you're like, holy fuck. But it has to be done. And people have been saying this, what Trump is doing, who knows if it's crazy or not, but it's been positive in Canada that it's made politicians all of a sudden like start working, start caring. It's brought us together. People realize that we have to diversify our natural resources and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it'd be better if Kamala had won and it's business as usual, but this is what's happening, and I'm still on Elon's dick, man. I'll hold it for him.
I gotta say, I'm disappointed heavily in all sides, all parties. Watching the Canadians, like again,
Grovel?
you said it happened last night at that hockey game. It happened in Ottawa 2 weeks ago where we booed the national anthem, and I think it's fucking. I think
exposes the
I think
rubes
it's
we are, man.
fucking despicable. I think it's gross. I don't know if you remember this, but like after 9/11, I'm pretty sure Ottawa played in either Toronto or Montreal, and they played the U.S. national anthem, and the whole fucking place stood up and sang every fucking word of it. And I remember being like rarely patriotic. Like I don't ever feel away, but I remember feeling like, fuck yeah, like that's who we are. That's who we are. They're our friends, they're our allies. And that's how I look at it. Like if Donald Trump taxes us, it's not the end of the world. First off, booing the national anthem, half of those people didn't vote for Donald Trump. So you're booing 50% of people who are your allies for no good reason. It's just disgusting to me. It's gross. Americans are our friends. Dude, think about it. The fires in Jasper, they sent firefighters, no questions asked. Their fires, we sent firefighters, no questions asked. You know why? Because that's what friends do. Yeah. And it's crazy to.
We're in a relationship with
But
them.
as me and Simon were discussing, we agreed as friends to pay 2% of our GDP 10 years ago towards NATO,
Sure.
and we didn't.
Okay, look, come on.
You see, we don't have a good system up here either. I think that's where the like miscommunication is, where you think that we're saying Canada is amazing and America is shit. We're fucked up here
No,
too.
but we thought we were amazing.
I don't think we ever did. We always knew our government was kind of garbage.
No, I think we were on the right place. And then when Trudeau came into power, it was like this a breath of fresh air. And he was like, I'm going to be more women in cabinet and change the planet. And it was all the nice, cushy things. And none of it added up to anything except put us in a really weak position.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all in agreement with that.
And for some reason, you know what Harper came out and said? If he was in power, he would let Canada go broke before.
Yeah, I heard him. Yeah.
Before what?
Before he
let us become-
capitulate to Trump.
So the people who are the most powerful know the most secrets in Canada know we have an ace up our sleeve because, like I said, we could not defend ourselves. We're friends now, but if something happened, it's not like we could put up a fight, even like Ukraine did. Like, who's going to come help us? It'd be America. But we're going to go broke before we ever.
To be honest, on the other side too, I see a lot of Americans that are hating on us right now, which is also weird. Like we've never.
I don't see any Americans go, yeah, they should join us. Everyone's like, we didn't see that. That wasn't on our bingo card. What if we change Lake Superior to Lake Trump? He's an ego guy, right? No, nothing. Okay.
I just think even then calling it the Gulf of America.
Do you like that? Do you like that they're like renaming the Gulfs and like why?
Couldn't care less.
Yeah, couldn't care less.
And if you're
exactly.
if you're in Spain, it's called the Gulf of Mexico,
Can I ask you a question
which is
too?
it's almost like a funny joke.
Does it not seem kind of gross and weird that like Google, for example, this week they removed all like gay pride is gone from Google calendars.
Well, I have that in the post, Joe, the list of companies that stop DEI and are.
But that's not a DEI thing. Like, let me ask you a question. Like,
No, but it's you. I see it as using the cause as what do you call it, Simon? Phil?
Huh?
Phil?
Phil?
Too much philanthropy or they don't really
TMP.
TMP. They don't really care.
No, but my point is like, who is it hurting that you open up your Google Calendar and it says Black History Month or Indigenous Day or like it's a weird thing that Trump gets in, and now some companies are like, hey, gays don't even exist. Gay pride isn't a thing.
Maybe they're worried that like if they keep that shit up, he'll see it and then punish them somehow. I don't know.
But
that's more worrisome though.
Is it about
Yes.
is it about how we took the Lord's Prayer to school because we don't offend other kids or people that came in our country? You know what I mean?
No, you shouldn't be. There shouldn't be the Lord's Prayer in school.
Yeah. So, and Google say we don't want to be anything political. We're just AI that we're colorblind. And
Well, first off, if in 4 years they bring that shit back, fuck all these companies all day and night.
This is the big thing, and that's what also Canadian politicians are saying about this. I mean, we're sort of getting offsided here, but this is only going to last for 4 years. I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either.
And I think what Mike Benz was saying is this is monumental. I'll just touch on it for a second because I really believe that the Bidens are the badness that everyone put on Donald Trump at this point. Okay. And while they were saying those guys are doing this, they were doing it in the weirdest way. Like they're saying Trump farted when they actually shit their pants, which wouldn't be a far cry for Joe Biden.
Yeah, but my only problem is in 8 years, you've never said anything negative about Donald Trump. You've never.
Of course I have. Of course I have. I said when he bullied Biden, the first thing I said, he seemed like an asshole. I wish he would act more presidential. I see.
Yeah, but that's like okay, but that seems like surface stuff. Like I don't think I've ever remember you being like.
I don't think he's the bad person.
No. I'm not talking about him as a person. I'm just saying I don't ever remember you once being like, this is a policy that Donald Trump fucked up, or this is somewhere where like, because here's the thing, there is no president in history that just for 4 or 8 years just nailed everything, right?
I would argue, I would argue that he never even got a chance to fuck shit up because of COVID, and then it was just dealing with that. And
you might be right. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Swept him out. Yeah, and again, this 4-year thing is the most interesting thing that it could be. 4 years from now, eggs are twice as much. JD Vance gets caught in doing gay porn, and AOC or The Rock show up for the Democrats, and they seem credible.
But there's one, like Trump's like, the second I get in, eggs are going to go down in price right away.
And they didn't.
No, I know. Well, because again, listen, here's the thing, Kamar. I don't hold Trump to the standard of he can fix everything. He holds himself to that standard, which I find weird.
And you also...
Well, no, he said a lot of things to get elected.
But none of you guys...
He knew those weren't true. He knew he wasn't going to... You can't come in and just do that. That's not how that works.
Well, what about... Because he said... he didn't say he had Hegseth say it, though, that obviously Ukraine's not getting land back and they're not joining NATO.
Trump said that?
Trump had Hegseth say that, and JD Vance talked about it as well. And they're talking about, this is the weirdest thing I don't understand, but we also don't understand when they played talking about the secretary at the time was planning out the politicians leave Vladdy, he's going to be a mayor.
What the fuck are you talking about?
In 2014, America launched the coup instead of the government that is now in the war.
Yeah.
So now Trump and Putin allegedly are going to organize it. Zelensky's not even involved, which just doesn't even make sense. But he's gotten richer from this war. Is that a problem? Zelensky?
I mean, it doesn't seem right.
It doesn't seem right, but it's happened.
Dude, it really feels like we're living in pretend times, though. Does it not? Like, everything is just so fucking weird.
No, the craziest thing, and this is where I was like, they both won't happen, and we should move on. We could have actually brought this up with the other one, but RFK and Tulsi Gabbard got voted through. RFK is the health guy.
Yeah.
And Tulsi is the head of intelligence. And I swear to God, 2 years ago,
2 years ago, she was a Russian asset.
So,
but most people get voted through. That's like almost all for sure.
Yeah, like if Trump wants them, aren't they in?
Yeah.
Isn't that how that works?
No, but people were like, this Hegseth guy's not going to get through. That he got through as well. So usually there's one of them.
Who's he, the wife beater?
Allegedly.
Sorry, yeah, allegedly.
No, I don't. I say that truthfully because we don't know.
You're right. I've never been to his house.
I think what's his name? Kennedy.
Yeah.
joining Trump's thing was a huge shift. You know what I mean? Like that made a big difference. Nobody thought so because they kept saying, oh, he's only 4% of the vote or whatever. But I think that, like they said on this show, it allowed people who weren't going to vote for Trump to be like, yeah, I'm going to do it now.
That's interesting too.
I think Trump was going to win no matter what. I think Joe put him over the
And
edge.
also, it's interesting. Did all this happen? Yeah. No, I don't think that's even far-fetched. Did all this happen despite USAID's effort?
Did all what happened? Sorry.
Trump has become president. Because according to him, the last 4 years, USAID has been doing stuff to infiltrate and all the protests. He talked about the Arab Spring protests, and they're all like, we always wonder, where does this come from? Who does this come from?
Well, USAID is like the right arm of the industrial military complex, right?
How many tentacles does CIA?
Well, both.
Who knows?
Don't you think the CIA is run by that same group of guys that never leave office?
He says the military has their own USAID as well.
No, I'm just saying though, like the whole thing obviously is totally corrupt. Like their whole, and this isn't me saying our thing is good. Our thing stinks too. We're just so small potatoes in. So everything that the Americans have done, all the going over to different countries to help them, all of that, like it's all fugazi.
Ours too, probably.
What's weird though is
I just said that.
Haiti as well.
I just
What's weird
said
though-
that.
We haven't mentioned Haiti.
if USAID really has its tentacles in everything, like if it's making music and it's involved in movies, then like haven't they also been telling us they've been doing this for the better part of 3 decades? Like
Yes, that's the Biden. That's the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden playbook.
Every movie is like, oh, the CIA just dropped a bag of money off to whoever, $20 million.
Yeah, but you never heard USAID.
No, of course. It was just the CIA.
What's the movie?
CIA is like Elon, according to Kamar. So Trump doesn't have to get his hands dirty.
What's the movie where the guy thinks he's invisible? Your eyes, they deceive you. His glasses is floating. You tell him exactly what's going on. The one thing I've learned in my 50 years on this planet is people love to be lied to. It's just the way they're lied to. Hip hop instructed. Talk about drugs because we need to sell more drugs. Like it's because it used to be what happened to De La Souls and the Tribe Called Quest. And there's still some out there, but it's a lot more just drug. Like it almost seems like it even less gangster than drug.
No, listen. As someone who still actively listens to rap, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I am like. You use De La, you use like the Soul Aquarians as your example. Like that still exists in rap. You just don't, you're not.
The Outcasts.
You're not as tapped in anymore. So you don't.
Well, and it also doesn't mean that just because they're in there having bands, it doesn't mean that every group out there there's
sorry.
a lot of good people in
I would
music
only know
still.
about them because they're the successful ones.
But you're forgetting too that you just plant a seed and then you fuck off. Like it's not, I don't know that it's an active ongoing. What I mean is this, you just need to start a movement and that movement will continue on hopefully. And you just need to water it occasionally. So what I'm saying is like in the early 90s, you go out and you push gangster rap with the sole purpose of violence in the inner cities and pushing drugs, right?
Sell cocaine to fund a revolution in Nicaragua.
There you go. So all you need to do is push
know
one.
that happens.
So you push one group to the top and then they become the standard. And then everyone else just says, well, if I want to be successful, I got to rap gangster. I got to rap about selling drugs. So what I'm saying is like, it's not an ongoing, like we need every new group that comes out has to be under our thumb. It's just as long as we have planted the seed that this is how you get rich in rap, is rapping about drugs, guns, and violence. And then you just let it go. And then every decade, maybe you check in.
It'd be interesting if Juice WRLD, Lil Peep, all these guys were come out to say that.
I mean, here's the thing. There are so many.
That they were given money to rap about drugs.
Or they were saying, I don't want to rap about drugs anymore. I want to rap about Bob Ross or whatever. I don't know.
The other conspiracy I've heard is that they use hip hop to move drugs across the country. So like hip hop artists fly private and they move mass amounts of drugs through
And that
private
would
flights.
be through USA.
And you don't really have to corrupt the singer, the artist. You have to, as long as you have a corrupt label, those guys are going to do whatever the fuck you want because that's how you got successful was by doing what your label told you to because they were writing your contracts and paying your you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which is also why independent music was almost always squashed.
Sure.
Well, you can't have, if you have 10 independent artists go out on their own and become massively successful.
see what you're
everyone
saying.
else
Yeah.
goes out and does that,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
go,
yeah.
we don't need these fucking labels. What are you doing this for?
That's when the internet got away from them, right? The music
Yeah, and
industry.
they reeled it right back in.
And
They
reeled
got it right away.
Agreed, but that was like a moment where shit could have, the independents could have flooded.
Yeah.
Which they did, I guess. But then those people just get famous and get picked up by agencies.
Yeah. But I mean, listen,
But all I'm saying is it's like NASA, where you don't have to convince everybody that you're making a fake moon landing. You just have to convince those 4 people.
it's just hilarious because I told you guys that in like 2002, I read this long blog about this guy who was in the hip hop industry, and he got invited out to this Malibu mansion. And when he got there, every major player in hip hop, all the A&Rs were there. And he said these 4 shady characters ran this meeting where they said this is the direction hip hop is going. And again, at the time I'm reading it and I'm involved in conspiracies, but I'm still like, this just seems too on the nose. You know what I mean? 4 shady characters showing up. But it's just like Epstein Island, where it's like 15 years ago, if you'd told me like, oh, a bunch of billionaires have this island where they go fuck kids, you'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, and
now sitting here, you're like, all bets are off.
Well, in that exact scene of them showing up to tell them how rap music, like they did the same thing with fucking, Winds of Change is the same thing. You know what I mean? It's all
Just rock at the time, not rap.
Of course, it's whatever's popular at the time, because you're trying to get through to as many people as you can.
Well, and I was thinking about it. We did this thing where we're like, oh, the CIA or USA, they write hits. And I was thinking about it. I was like, no, that's not how this works. You get dirt on someone who writes hits, and you go to them and you say, listen, we need a song about the Berlin Wall coming down. Make it,
But, and again, it doesn't even have to be the band. It was the manager that they had for the pictures.
No, I get it. No,
or
but what I'm
whatever.
saying is you don't go to the band at all. You go to some outside
Right,
third party.
exactly.
You go.
They think they're getting famous.
This is what I'm saying. You find some fucking brilliant songwriter, and you're like, hey, we know that we have this dirt on you. Write us this song, and you're never going to talk about it. And that guy goes, it takes it to his
Or
grave.
maybe it's not even dirt. Maybe that's just his job.
Yeah,
you know what I
maybe,
mean? Like my job in the CIA is to write hits.
Yeah, they got me out of high school.
I have an NDA. I can never tell you, and that's the end of the conversation.
I mean, listen, this is all like 360 million people. Let's assume that everyone pays, I don't know. Let's average it out to $2,000 a year in tax. Is that a good average? What do we say?
You pay more than that, but
No,
sure.
I said on average. If you're averaging out 360 million people, it's got it like, because I get it. The Elon Musks pay $4 billion, but that bottom 50% probably each only pay the lowest.
Yeah, but yes, I was just saying, like some people pay property tax, some people
course.
don't pay
Yeah, yeah.
property,
I'm
some
just-
people pay this and that, and you don't
course,
pay
of
whatever.
Say yes, $2,000 a year.
Sure, $2,000.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, how much money is that? Siri, what's 360 million times 2,000? This bitch hates me. Hey, Siri, what's 360 million times 2,000?
Everyone in America to the debt owes $300,000 each citizen.
$300,000. That doesn't seem right.
What is it, 7?
That's why this is happening.
Yeah, I know.
720 million, add 3 zeros. What is that? Gets you to $72 billion.
Was that Netflix?
No, I'm just trying to think, though. Is $72 billion even close to enough to fund that country and everything that goes on there?
Well, it's not when they're just paying off interest on a loan.
No,
they're
of
not
course.
paying any of their problems down.
But think about on top of that corporate tax.
No, of course, but I would. You see, Kamar, this would be helpful. What would be helpful is if Mike Benz or Elon Musk or Donald Trump or anyone that was like trying to clean this up, if they could provide us with a number. And what I mean is, like, if they could say the U.S. government should cost this much to run efficiently every year. You know what I mean? And right now it's at this.
Well, like we said, wait till you get to the Pentagon because maybe that'll be a floating number. But let's give them 100 days to produce that number because maybe it's just so messy and the patient's screaming and they're trying to save its life and it's a chaotic right now. Let's give it 100 days.
How does the
I think
normal...
it'll take them 4 years.
No,
To really do it? It takes 4 years. Does it
100
not?
days to feel like, okay, they know what they're doing here or this is not worth doing.
Come on, keep in mind, I haven't shit on them. I'm just pointing out where I see issues. First of all, I don't live there. I don't pay taxes there, so I can't care. If Elon Musk wants to butcher their government, go nuts.
I want to become the 52nd states.
How does the average American feel, though, when you're like, you know, your whole thing is growing up, freedom, this like best country in the world. And then you find out that literally it's all built on like the most deceitful, the way they've done all of this is espionage and fake and no,
Well, because the idea was that they're
cool.
doing that
That's cool.
elsewhere.
that's cool.
That's the way it happens, yeah.
Simon, the idea was that
Game of Thrones.
The idea was that we're free.
But now they're finding out that that wasn't the case. This was all going on in America as well, right?
Well, I think they, freedom isn't free is the famous
You know
saying,
what
right?
I'd be interested to learn? How much they learned from their repatriated scientists.
The Nazis? What do you mean? Learned about what?
Well, everyone at the same time as fearing the Germans were like, this guy cooked it. They let him cook. Their messaging was really strong. It worked out well for their goals, even though it was evil. Now, if we could take that but put towards our, you know what I mean? There had to be sharing of intelligence from what the Nazis did to influence their people to do stuff.
That's funny. I feel like the U.S. were just as
Yeah,
good
it's
at
called
that time.
fluoride, Kamar.
I think they learned at the time.
Oh, I think they definitely picked up a few things, but I think they brought them over more for rocketry and that sort of stuff.
I think they brought those
just
guys
food for
over.
thought.
No, but I think he's right. I think they also brought over the guy who was in charge of propaganda. The guy, they picked the best ones, and Russia got kind of whatever was left.
Because
you know?
they wouldn't have done any of this unless they were impressed by what the Germans had managed to
of course.
do,
Listen,
unfortunately, with their intentions. Let us rate this. I thought this was riveting. This is an amazing podcast, driving late at night. I give it a 4
I had to like rewind and re-listen to parts in this
because of all its analogies.
well, no, it's not. It's not even the analogy.
just got
that
confused.
The way the government works here and there is so convoluted
Yeah,
that
it
like
couldn't be
half the
easy
stuff
to-
he's trying to explain, I was just like, I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about right now. I was like, I get it. People are being stolen from.
Especially when they said, "Okay, we'll do the Poland thing, but can we go back to the Brazil thing because that ties in, and then we'll do the rap thing."
Yeah. Yeah. I'll give it a 4.
And he was so close to saying winds of change. He couldn't get there. Thank God for what's his name.
What do you rate it, Simon?
This one gets like of what I could understand, it gets like a 4.
All right, Bridget Phetasy.
Bridget Phetasy. So the reason.
Name and a number.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Amateur hour here.
It's fine. Who cares? Bridget Phetasy. Whatever.
I was just saying, I gotta run this ad.
Out of
2270.
Out of all the time she's been on, I think this was her best appearance. And I know you hate her, and I don't love her episodes either, but at least this one, at least she asked Joe some like questions that just weren't fucking blowing him the whole time. Like, did it feel gross to be at Trump's inauguration? You know what I mean? Like, that's something I want to know. Like, was he there just like, were they there just fucking jerking themselves off? Or could they actually understand that like some of this is fucking gross?
Joe keeps slowly pulling back the onion of his trip to DC. Like at first,
Fourth row, full tuxedo.
Because at first it was like,
Some of us paid $1 million. I mean, people paid $1 million.
yeah. No, at first it was like, no, I was just there. Like he seemed like he was just in the crowd, Like I went to DC with some friends because I thought it was monumental. And then it's like now, as you peel back the onion, it's like, it's funny too because someone was like, I might have been in this episode, but they were like, yeah, they're trying to say like you're part of the machine, and he's like, how can I be part of the machine? I started in my basement, and I have video of that, and it's like, dude. Are you so far gone from where you started that you can't see that that's not how this works?
No,
it doesn't matter where you
Fear
fucking...
Factory became part of the machine.
No, but they all started in a garage or in a basement. Every fucking story of every successful person who's now part of that administration, like they all started in a basement.
I gotta say this. It's sheer lunacy for us to sit and listen to that Mike Benz episode. Is it Mike Benz?
Yes.
It's sheer lunacy for us to listen to that Mike Benz episode and still have Joe bring Mike Baker in quarterly. Because literally, the next time Mike Baker comes in, he's going to caca all over Mike Benz. He's going to be like, no, we need that money because this is how we get stuff done. And it's so crazy to me to hear Joe spend 3 hours being like, I can't believe we're spending this money in all these places. And it's like, dude, your boy that you bring in here and refuse to ask the hard questions to, it's him and his fucking buddies. Like,
Yeah, but he's a sucker for the queen.
oh, get out of here, fuck.
Do you think?
crazy.
Do you think there's a designated survivor? Well, there must be, right?
Of course there is.
So on that day, who was where?
What is this? The designated survivor? What are we talking about?
So everyone was in that building The inauguration.
Like if everybody dies close to the president, there has
that
to be
whole thing
one
blows
person
up.
who becomes president. They made a television show about it with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
He's just like this. He's like the janitor or something.
Because it was just slightly different. You guys didn't watch it, but it was awkward. Them squeezing all these people in. Because normally it's outside.
If everybody
and
gets killed there, it's like that Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr. movie. You know, they bring the Gatling gun and kill all the fucking royals that are in that one room at the same time.
Donnie, you're supposed to be cleaning up the fucking bath.
You know what my other big problem is?
Yep.
And no one's spoken about this, is like Trump needed the conservative
The Tea Party?
evangelical vote.
The Tea Party?
He needed them. Without them, he can't get elected. But he knows damn well he is not religious in any way, shape, or
Well,
form.
he's come to Jesus now.
No, he hasn't, and I don't care what you
did.
say.
He just did a breakfast. Whether he's honest or not they're all despicable.
No,
I
stop,
think that's-
stop. You haven't even let me finish my point. You're defending Trump. So I don't give a fuck. I know you love him and he can do no wrong for you. That's fine. He doesn't believe in God. He's not a God-fearing person. He's not religious. If you asked him his favorite Bible verse, he couldn't name one because he hasn't read the thing. Joe Rogan, we've been listening to for 6 years, not religious.
No.
Coming around, I would say. Coming around since he moved to Texas, I'd give him that. Not religious. They all ended up at a church after the inauguration or before the inauguration. It stinks to me. It just fucking stinks. You have a bunch of people that aren't religious pushing religion on the general public. It's not supposed to be part of their constitution. You have Adam Curry coming in and being like, no, it is part of our constitution. All the founding fathers were religious. They were religious. And they were the ones that were like, there's no place for this in government. None. And here we are.
People are starting to hedge their bets.
Yeah, and it's dangerous.
It's dangerous as an influence to someone might believe a religion that shouldn't.
Well, first of all, it's dangerous because they haven't elected a non-religious, quote unquote, non-religious president ever. If you don't come out and say, I believe in God, you're not getting elected.
Do you think that's true everywhere, or that's just an
Just the states. Just the states.
Because you don't have to do that here.
You never hear our politicians talk about
Harper did, I think.
maybe a little bit, but you don't. It's not a
I
prerequisite.
heard
You would
Doug
agree?
Ford say "God bless everyone" as he fucking signed off. the other night.
I think Doug is going to be the premier for our whole lifetime.
He might be. Fuck.
But your problem is disingenuous or it's dangerous.
I don't care about that. Listen,
Well, it
I'm
does
with.
feel phony for sure.
The whole thing is phony, though.
No, Kamar.
To say it's phony is like
Kamar,
the
that's not my
dumbest thing
issue.
you can say.
That's not my issue. I realize
Well,
that
not when a guy's
politicians
coming
lie.
in and claiming he's different. Then shouldn't the phoniness go out the window?
No.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's weird. That's a weird stance.
it's,
but
the
okay.
whole thing is weird. I can't. It's
What has ever actually been what it was?
no, you're right. Nothing.
That's all.
But he's supposed to be different. That's the whole point of this conversation.
And thus far, he is being different.
well,
No,
mine
hold
is
on. Wait,
the
you
pretending
can't-
to be
yeah,
religious.
You can't have it both ways. You can't be like he's bucking the trend and doing it different, and then when
I think
Simon's
you got to
like,
separate business and religion. For Trump, this is just a business that he's trying to streamline to make a better business. Religion is just a marketing of his image.
Okay.
Hey, you think he'd be better if he said, I don't believe in God, but I love you guys and you guys should be good? Like,
Well, yeah, he just wouldn't have gotten into office.
yeah, exactly. So it's just
So
it's
he did what he
obvious.
had to do.
And I'm sure the guy I defend has done worse stuff than that he maybe should be in jail for.
again, I go back to I just don't want. Religion has no place dictating what you do with your life, unless you're religious.
Isn't his name in their constitution though?
Who?
God.
Yeah, that was added about 65 years ago.
Is that right?
Yes, it was
It
not.
wasn't with those
It was
old
not
guys.
in the original
Anyways,
constitution.
Really, eh?
Go look it up.
With the religious thing, I could not care less about. I don't even notice it,
Well, like I said,
even though it's dishonest.
my only issue is this: if you want to live a religious life based on the Bible, I think you should feel free. And if it makes you a better person, I'm all for that.
Yeah, but you can ask for forgiveness anytime. So
That's fine, but I don't think you should then be like, I believe in the Bible, and you have to live by the Bible. I don't like that.
I think they're saying should, but we're getting so.
And again, if really all they're saying is like do the good penance, then who really cares, right?
It's just easier to refer to than my laws or the 10 rules of Jordan Peterson. But Joe could have done a podcast in the pyramid with Mr. Beast, what's going on behind the scenes that we don't know?
If
the
he-
deals that have been made and stuff.
If Joe says one more time, I don't have time to go to the pyramids, like, what is he even talking about? He could take a month off and do whatever the fuck he wants. Just bank a bunch of episodes. Like,
I don't think.
what is he so busy doing?
Shows, hunting.
No, but that
No,
can't
stand up,
get
stand
that
up.
can't get him to this place he wants to go more than anywhere in the world. Like, I don't understand.
Also, Joe's not at all concerned that Mr. Beast might be a fucking weird pedo. There's no
Well,
concern there at all.
nobody is now because he did so well on Prime. So.
I would say I've got to start thinking. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with CoffeeZilla, but every time someone is exposed for being the piece of shit they are, it might not. Do you know what I mean? It may be them being framed. It's more of it's a takedown. As Ben said back in the episode, the media has been trained, and he referred to them as mercenaries.
Yeah, but hold on. Whoa. The media never came out and said anything about Mr. Beast.
Well, no, not the mainstream media. I really.
But
think
he was
they're
talking about the
dinosaur.
mainstream media. He's not talking about a guy that makes YouTube videos.
Well, and the fact that
Well, no, come on. You
No,
know
no,
he's not
I-
talking
I'm-
about that.
Hey,
Fine.
and the fact that the mainstream media isn't talking about that maybe tells you that Mr. Beast is one of them.
Well, he must.
Why
be.
would you
He-
throw away your best asset?
He must be. Do you know the
Why
Prime?
would you give up your best asset?
Do you know
wouldn't.
The Prime thing was filmed in Toronto.
Which Prime thing?
Oh no, the
game
Beast
show?
game show. Because they show like the
Yeah, it was
first
filmed outside on like an
$5
air.
million prize given.
It's
in
just
Toronto,
cheaper for
Canada.
them to film it here, I guess.
I don't know.
Well, first of all, our dollar right now is dog shit. So yeah, you're filming for half the price. And when you're giving away $10 million.
It would appear again another pushback to who is Elon, who was running America for the last 4 years. It was a question British asked because we know it wasn't Joe Biden,
No, it was probably his wife and who knows.
but there was no concern on anyone's behalf that who's making these decisions, who's doing this. We now know it wasn't Joe Biden. They're lying to herself, so hopefully.
Well, during a normal non-Trump presidency, there's so many checks and balances in place that the president probably doesn't make that many fucking life-changing decisions.
I think these executive orders are going to end in 100 days and it's going to go back to business and then just squabbling. One thing she also pointed out is the political leanings of Hollywood make people feel like the Democrats are bigger than they actually are in America. And that's why when these come and go, who are these people that believe this? Like, no, you've created a world and a lot of entertainment stuff says that way. So we all do, but it's not.
No, that's probably totally true, and that's why they have to control the media is to make sure that they always seem way more popular than they
And
are.
even with Kamala, they thought they could use USAID and Eminem and Beyonce and make everyone think she's good and win election
I think they're.
rather than substance.
I think it's to the detriment of the Democrats because I think Hollywood goes too far. I don't think most Democratic voters in the States are like, oh, I know. I think everyone should chop their dick off and everyone should be able to, like, I just don't think that represents
Yes,
the average.
but they would not air an opinion that they don't think they should.
Of course, what I'm saying though is if you found a Democratic voter in Austin, I bet they would lean, I bet they'd be more centrist than like a far left person in
You might
LA.
think they're a conservative.
It's almost like they get paid more if you have 2 trans kids and you're famous, then you get more. You get 4
you get more
million
clout,
instead of
yeah.
1 million that we're paying you to go out there and show up to Kamala's fucking, you know what I mean? It just makes your dollar value more.
I think that's what I keep coming back to. After watching the all Kamala was full of shit. She said she believed in God. If she cared about anything, and it was all good. So,
But hold on, Kamala was full of shit, and if she said she believed in God, I probably wouldn't
and Donald
believe her
Trump
either.
too is full of shit. He just happened to win, and he's doing what no one thought would happen.
But you don't think he's full of shit. You can't say that.
Well,
What are you
he's
talking about?
doing what he promised he would do in the first place.
You can't just say things to appease us. You don't think Donald Trump is at all
When
full of
he
shit.
said when he's doing the crowd stuff, I think he's full of shit. Like the lies, it don't matter. They're lies, but I don't think it's. You think it's a character flaw. I think it's just
I watch the British chef guy,
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay,
He's full of shit.
And he goes to like these places to rescue these places, and he's a really mean asshole. You know that's all a farce. He's probably a really nice guy behind the cameras.
Yeah, I don't think full of shit is a negative thing. It's a common trait in people.
Well, I think what you're talking about is a
Well,
little...
he's an actor, just like Donald Trump was an actor.
Well, no, I think what you're talking about is a little different. I've worked in a kitchen with a chef that outside of the kitchen was a really nice, great person. Salt of the earth. You'd love to sit down and have a drink or a meal with them. In the kitchen, total asshole piece of shit. I just think that's part of kitchen.
Well, yeah, no. I'm not talking about
Heat of the
kitchen.
moment.
I'm talking about this guy has made his name on
on
being
sort
this
of an asshole, sure.
personality.
Like, let me be, you know, Neon? You know Neon.
Yeah, I know Neon.
Yeah.
I wish I did.
Yeah, I wish I didn't too. I heard Mickey Mace, another person I wish I didn't know.
Yep.
No, he's the biggest anomaly of all of them.
Well, I think, okay, anyway,
Anyways, go
point is,
on.
Mickey was talking about how he's like, Neon came to shoot at my house for the day, and he showed up 4 hours early, and he went up to every single person at my house, and he said, hey, man, my name's Neon. It's nice to meet you. Just so you know, I'm going to be filming here for the day. The character I play is very antagonistic, and there's a good chance that I'm going to come up and antagonize you, insult you, say something that you're not going to like. Tell me now if you have a problem with this, if you think it'll pop off, and I'll just avoid you all day. And when I heard that, it's funny because, like, when you hear that immediately, you're like, yeah, it's just a fucking act. It's all a fucking money-making act. But at the same time, you're like, you would never stop to think like, oh, this kid's just trying to fucking make money by being a total piece of shit. But that maybe in real life, he's just the nicest guy on earth.
But we've also been programmed and trained the last 40 years to think away.
Yeah, and I think that's gross. See, you've just leaned into it. You're like, no, this is how it is, and I'm fine with it. Whereas I kind of look at it and I'm like, I don't like the way society's
I
going.
think it's coming down to the guy in the Matrix.
Yeah,
Tastes like
ignorance is
steak.
bliss.
Tastes like steak.
Well, if that was the case,
But
then
right
we
now
would
it
have been
doesn't-
happy just to have fucking Kamala win, and everything
Yes.
would remain status quo.
Absolutely.
And you could have kept eating your
And
steak.
I still will.
But I think the
but
problem
you
is
wouldn't have liked that.
the difference.
I just like it in 4 years of Joe Biden, but life seemed to go on. I still ate steak and
No, I agree with that.
Had bad days and good days.
I think-
it really, at the end of the day, doesn't matter. The problem is that we listen to this podcast and have to discuss. These
No,
topics.
for sure.
Kamar.
But- well,
wait, no, I was going to say. I also this has nothing to do with Donald Trump at all. What I'm about to say, but it doesn't feel like it tastes like steak right now.
No,
I'm on the other side.
agreed.
I'm like,
No, I know.
I'll say this. I
But
think
hold on.
Bridget's in trouble
How so?
because I think she made her bones, talking about the problems.
Oh yeah, now she's
of,
flipped to the other side.
she
Yeah.
I don't want to use the grifter, but she's in the lane of a Candace Owens, who's lost her fucking mind, by the way, who was in politics and now she's in the Blake Lively. Anyways, these grifts have to go into a thing, and when your guy wins, and Mike Benz he's still up at night, but Curry, everyone was like, it feels like things are better
I wouldn't really
on that side.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really give a fuck if it didn't affect us. But now, what? Like Trump is hurting you now. You know what I mean? He's hurting your country.
We just talked about this an hour ago. It could be $1,400. It's pearl clutching again. It's not going to hurt me.
Well, I guess that we'll find out.
We-
if he bankrupts our country, well, that hurts you.
But
Can I ask you a question?
Like
though?
you're not immune
no,
to
but
these
did we
things.
bankrupt our country?
I was
What,
just gonna
what if he's just running a right business?
Can I ask you a question, Simon? Do you think that? I mean, again, he's been in power for like 60 days, if that. Do you think that Donald Trump has done more damage or will do more damage to our country than, say, COVID did, or the decisions that were made during COVID?
I do not.
I would have to agree with you, Kumar. I mean, keep in mind, it's been 60 days or less. No, just hear me out. What I'm saying is, after 4 years, my opinion might change. Right now, I agree with you.
If Donald Trump is undealable with,
Yeah.
meaning like the government can't come to some sort of terms that like he just won't be happy with any. Yeah, that's probably worse than COVID was.
How so?
Well, that will not be good economically for our country.
But experts are saying this is good. Like what this is spurned. Do you know that the tariffs are 25%, right? That's the magic number.
He's going to use the interprovincial.
Yeah, they're higher.
Yeah, I know.
In some.
Yeah,
Kamar, my mom worked for the government for-
It doesn't even make sense.
That's terrible too. The fact that we have to pay so much in our
we rip ourselves off.
yeah, no, it's crazy. And look, if this causes a turnaround where all of a sudden
And that's what this thing's happening.
No, my mom's.
You can't say anything right now. We won't know this for 100 days.
Canadian experts are saying that, like, there's not doom and gloom.
I've heard both sides to it, so I don't know like where your experts come from, because I've heard the exact opposite from
the side
Canadian
is
experts.
sectors that actually will be affected, like a company or something will actually have layoffs. That's where there will be problems. But they're saying they're going to, whatever it costs to pay you to stay in business, because we'd rather go broke than say, okay, we can't afford it, become Canada. Like we're going to have another COVID situation.
Well, I don't think that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I would agree. The way you said that is not good.
The good thing is us reorganizing our trade relationships with other countries, maybe a new pipeline. Like
I have no problem if Donald Trump is really just coming in and saying, look, these deals we have are fucking backwards and they were set up by people who were getting kickbacks and this and that, and I just want to straighten it out. Like,
if it happens
a deal is
Canada,
made because...
it happens to hurt Canada, so be it.
No, because a deal that gets made is like, it's not a deal if the two parties aren't both getting something from it, right?
At the end of
Then
the day,
it's just some guy telling the other guy what to do.
Donald Trump's favorite 4 words are "let's just wait and see," and so that's what we're going to have to do with this. I think
That's
this
5 words.
I know.
You don't like nobody wants to be beat up and have nobody to fucking come to their aid, you know?
Yes.
You're that hockey player out on the ice with no fucking protector.
Right now, that's what it feels like to be Canada.
That's what it feels like right now. Whether in 100 days, in 2 years, this will be something different. Right now, that's what it feels like.
But the biggest sentiment was people were concerned about the convoy reappropriating the Canadian flag. That hurt a lot of people and rubbed them the wrong way. And because of all this, it's reunited, except to the detriment, like Matt says, when we boo.
Well, everybody's forgot about that, obviously, because sales of Canadian flags have like skyrocketed. I saw a guy come in the other day wearing that Canada is not for sale hat. I was just like, that guy fucking made so much money.
Obviously, Simon. So again, another positive thing from this jackass Trump is it's brought in solidarity to the country.
But again, it's phony solidarity. Like there's no, that's just people.
Hold on.
That's
There's
just
nothing real. There's
hold on.
nothing is real.
That's just people who feel that if I do this, I'm going to help. But really, there's no help
But
either
you're
way.
saying that with the bias from the business owner, and like you said, that well, it's a Canadian business. What does it matter what the product is from the support?
Nothing to do with business at all. I'm just
Listen, can I ask you a question? Forget Donald Trump. How much has your hydro bill gone up in the last 10 years?
I mean, a lot.
Yeah, and that is pure. That has nothing to do. Just hear me out. That has absolutely nothing to do with any U.S. policy, any.
100%, Matt. I'm like, again, I'm in agreement. We
I
are
know.
run
Hey.
terribly.
Yeah. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just saying that my point was. I go back to is just I asked you, like, do you think Donald Trump has been worse for our country than COVID? And you said you think so. And I'm just
No, that is not what I said.
Okay, sorry. I apologize.
said if it bankrupts our country, then yeah, I think
at the
it
end
is
of it. Yeah.
worse.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry,
Like,
I didn't catch that. I thought you.
I don't know anything at this point.
Pardon me.
Like I said, I just feel like we're getting beat up on. Right at this moment, it feels like this guy is. At first I thought it was just a business ploy because he's a businessman. And when you're going into negotiations, you want to go in with the most hand possible. So if I can do this, scare them, and then go in and make a deal, I'm going to get a better deal for my people. Who even know if he wants a deal?
You probably just said, okay, I'm taking Saskatchewan.
This is what I'm saying. Like, you can't just
then we
do
settle the deal.
that. Then the whole world falls apart.
And that's why it feels like you're beat up on, because at that point, NATO, it's one of the stipulations, is supposed to say, whoa, we're all in this together.
Yeah, I know, but
they're not.
The problem is the rest of NATO isn't as powerful as the U.S. is, all combined.
That's Donald Trump's point.
Well, but yeah, fine.
No, the rest of NATO is like, well, if you get what you need out of Canada, maybe you won't come after us, so we'll just stay here.
It's not just Canada, though. Like, listen, it's Mexico. It's
No, but
fucking
Mexico, it actually is true. The fentanyl, like the immigration thing, that it's legitimate. He's just taking advantage of that.
Yeah, like I said, he's trying
Never
to give
let a
himself.
good crisis go to waste.
He's trying to give himself hands so he can go into a negotiation and say, "You guys aren't protecting your border."
I'm going to extend Simon the olive branch here. I recognize what you're saying. Okay, if you were to put a list, an itemized list of problems the U.S. has, Canada is so far down that list.
Oh my!
Like,
not only that, we're such a huge trading partner.
no, I get
with
it.
them.
So
But
this
we're
is
vulnerable.
again. Okay, but that just let me. I'm extending the olive branch to you. I'm saying. So it does feel like a bully move because it's like these guys that are historically
These
our
guys
friends.
who just sent these fucking
Yeah.
planes down to help you with your fires that are fucking out of control.
Yeah. I get it. It feels, but he's also trying to show his people. It's again. We'll wait and see. Like nothing's happened yet.
No, and I just said that. I just said right now, this is what it feels like. Maybe Kamar's right. Maybe this makes us a stronger country, which will be amazing because the idea that our provinces interprovincially are paying more than that is insane. You know what? Frankly, I didn't even know that we had to pay each other to ship product from one province to the other.
One thing I tried to figure out,
That's
but
nuts.
I couldn't, and it's specific to industries. But there's a crazy thing going on in Quebec with their dairy industry, cheese and milk in particular. And
That's dairy.
The premier, I guess so.
It's exactly what dairy is. Cheese and
You
milk.
nailed it. Yeah.
The premier talked about how it's in place, and I wish I could do a good French accent, to protect small businesses. And I just wonder if it's like it's costing so much money to subsidize these small businesses. If they can't thrive, should they exist?
Are the small businesses the farms?
They might be.
Kamar, the problem
But
with
someone else could do it.
Kamar, the problem
But if you just...
The problem with what you're saying is like you're right. You're not wrong, but the problem is then we end up with just Walmart doing business, and it's terrible for you.
No. It's more like we'd be getting cheese from a Vermont farmer or milk from a Vermont farmer. I think it's at that level, not the businesses as a retail outlets.
I'm just saying, like the reason we protect small businesses is so that there is competition. Because without competition, you just end up with Rogers and fucking Telus, and we pay the highest. You know what I mean? That's what their concern is.
It's a lot. That was just one example. Another one is you can't get BC wine in Ontario or whatever.
Bonkers.
There's a lot of places and things, and I believe in my heart of hearts, if you got rid of them all, the best business would then exist. I just don't get this helping one business, letting another one fall.
Well, again, I think you would just have to give me some examples of what businesses
That's
you're
why I said
talking about. It sounds like you're just...
I tried to figure out, all I know is a quote from the premier, because they had all the premiers on the desk, and they're talking about what you're willing to give up or what concessions you're going to make. And he said with the supply and whatever it's called agreement, particularly in dairy, that is non-negotiable. Just like Alberta said, you can't make a deal with our power. Everyone has their thing that they're holding
Like
on
we
to.
want there to be small farms because like he's just saying it on the Walmart end, but you don't want there to be mass.
I think we just want cheap
when
food.
they're
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
The weird thing about cheap food though is
if it's
you can
being
get
done here
you can get Ontario
and you're
carrots
not
in
having
Louisiana
to
for
ship
cheaper.
it so far, you've got to save some money on that,
Well,
right?
that's a different story. But you know they pour out gallons and gallons of milk to prop up the industries and stuff. I mean, in your head that's just waste, but it's like I think it seems like maybe at the time it was the right thing to do, and now the system changed. I don't know. I really
You know
don't
what's weird to
about
me?
it.
That doesn't seem like waste. I don't know why. Because it's such a renewable resource.
But it's just to keep the prices up.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just.
I don't know.
If
I
it
don't
was,
know what I'm talking
If it was
about.
like they melted gold and threw it into the ocean, I'd be like, that seems like
It doesn't seem like waste because you can just get more milk from the cow. Is that what you're saying?
that's my justification. It is waste. At the end of the day, it is. You're throwing out a good product, so it's waste across the board. But what I'm saying is like if I go upstairs and I fill a pitcher with water from the tap and then I go outside and throw it out, you're not going to sit there and berate me for wasting water, are you?
No, but if there are people in Ottawa who don't have water
I
and
understand.
you are throwing water
yeah.
away, then yes, I am going to berate you for that.
Sure.
So if you're throwing milk away and there are people starving on the streets or paying fucking $20 a gallon.
They were never going to give that milk away.
No, okay, fair enough.
Well, no, am I wrong? Like, you get my point.
No, I do. Sorry, I got up.
Are we done with British Phetasy, Kamar? Can we
I
please
had
be done?
one last thing.
I'll wait.
Throwing milk
I just
out.
figure we're already here.
Yeah, I think it's like US aid as well, like all this protectionism and stuff, because there's even certain Professions, your accreditation is not recognized. Like we're in the same country, but a different province. You can't be a nurse or
Like
or a
what?
nursing,
nursing.
or a carpenter. It's just certain trades and stuff.
Yeah, that is.
it's funny you mention
that's
that.
so weird.
It is.
I always just figured it was Quebec and Ontario because
Well, that's what we're aware
No,
of.
no. But that one is like because they're very protective of their heritage. Why would it matter if you're an Ontario fucking nurse who wants to go work in Calgary?
Use French nails.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
shouldn't we all have the same level of care needed to get into that program? Like, why is it easier to be a nurse why do they even have different needs in Calgary than we have here?
All that to say,
For nurses.
all this discussion and stuff has been brought to the top by Donald Trump. I give him credit for that and that all. Bridget Phetasy, I give her a 1.
Hold on. In closing, I had a conversation with my mom this week. I didn't realize this, but she used to work for Pierre Poilievre.
PD, Polyev?
Yeah,
CTP?
he was the deputy minister or something, so she worked under him. And it's funny you bring up the accreditation, whatever the fuck it is, because apparently when he was a deputy minister, was fighting hard to make it so that, like, if you were a foreigner, right, you were like a surgeon back home, you have to be a cab driver here, and he was fighting because he was like, I don't think that should be the case. There should just be like a
Universal accreditation when it
No.
comes to
no,
some things.
no,
A
even
short
like
form test or
sure,
something.
like even
That's what I meant.
Yeah, like you're accredited there. Maybe for 6 months you have to learn some things here that we do a little bit different, and then you can
Well,
continue.
that would have helped with our fucking medical system, that's for sure.
Yeah,
we
it would,
have
yeah.
no doctors right now. They're begging people to.
Well, that would be just a what if interesting thing is if we became the 51st state, if our healthcare got better or worse or whatever.
Well, you'd have to pay for it, right?
I'm not sure. Maybe maybe we Canadians would be like we'd have First Nation status and we would keep our stuff and we'd just have be our own little thing.
Okay.
Well, no, what they might
now
do-
you're talking
No,
about
no,
language.
No, listen, what they could do is, like Joe and fucking Boneyard were saying, is, and there's 12, by the way, or 13, I guess. We would just be 13 different states.
Yeah.
Canada would no longer exist. Ontario would be its own independent state.
Which is in charge of healthcare.
Well, and you could then argue that Ontario could decide to continue on with socialized healthcare, as Manitoba could, BC could,
Or go mix.
or you could do some sort of that's
And what happens to all the provinces' debt? Does that go away?
of course not.
Do you start at a
it's swallowed up.
deficit?
I just want to say, and Pierre Poilievre is not going to be prime minister anymore.
Do you know what's
What do
really?
you mean? Why?
He's plummeting in the.
Oh, is he?
He's not plummeting. They're coming up. It's almost like Trudeau's a
Mike
genius.
Carney is coming up there.
Anyone but him.
Or whatever his name is.
Can I tell you what's crazy? I thought of this the other day. The first or second Fallout game for PC came out in like 98 or whatever. At the very beginning of the game, they're showing you like how they ended up in the Fallout bunkers. And one of the first things that happens is the annexation of Canada.
Interesting.
And you see like
So this one move is going to lead to the total destruction of North America.
Believe me now. No, hear me now. Believe me later. Maybe not my lifetime. Canada will not exist in 100 years. Yeah, I think it'll be part America, part Russia. Or like we just do not have. Or
you could make an argument that in 100 years borders might not exist, though, if you want to take it a step further.
Maybe America doesn't exist because it's called Trump land.
But I don't think we're in a position of strength.
We're definitely not. We're getting beat up on the hockey rink.
I would be so much prouder if there's a high speed rail. Anyways,
You know,
I gave her a 1 like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, okay, I give it a 1.
I give it a
Again,
2.
I think in closing, you need to look at some Canadian military because we're not fucking useless. Every major, like World War II, we were on the front lines of, and again, I'm not taking credit.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive.
We were though.
Yeah, and this is my point, is like we have,
Those who do it well, but it's not good enough.
no, listen, we
And
don't have
they
enough,
would tell you.
I get it, we don't have enough people. Okay, they send 10, for every person we send to war, they send 10 or 15. So there's no, in a war with the US, we lose every time. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is
I
like,
think in a war with Ukraine, we lose every time.
okay, but I could argue that they would lose to us too.
No, I think. No, I don't think Ukraine would lose to us. I really.
How do you think? So, first of all, what is their navy? How are they going to get here?
The same as our Navy. Our Navy's disastrous.
They're a landlocked country. They don't have a navy.
That's a trick question.
I'm just.
I think they have more protection for their borders than we do. Because our border on the American side it's a push, right? Because they're there.
Yeah.
And the north is There could be a Russian base up there right now, and there's nothing we can do. That's all I'm saying. We could be more prepared. And I swear to God, I hope they open up a big base because I'd like to go up there for like a 6-month stint and be a dishwasher or something. I think it'd be really cool.
We didn't break off a country. Like your argument for like why their military is like more border heavy than ours is because they used to be part of the USSR, and so there's like a constant like we have never had to fight for our land other than the one war against the states that we won.
I think our army is not as strong as it could be because of the policy we chose. And I think the person I was always thought that was the best way to be. Like, if no one has guns, no one has to fight. But it turns out that's not the case. And that is the main crux with the experts. Canadian experts say what Trump does have as an actual credible thing is how we've not been making our NATO payments.
That's fine. But again, I would push back. The only country that could successfully invade us currently, I guess maybe China, would be the U.S.
Why not Russia? Because they're involved in a war. Because they're right on top of us.
Yeah, I mean, so their country's huge and stretched thin. I have a tough time seeing them send fucking 500,000 troops across the Bering Strait.
Dude, does Russia have warships? Those giant
Submarines?
Submarines and those
yeah.
giant fucking carriers like the US has, the 4 of them there.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't?
I don't think they do.
China does for sure.
Yeah, I said
No. I'm just saying that's all you need. You don't really need an army. You just send that one fucking thing over here with missiles on it. What are we gonna do?
Well, how many? Okay, but you're gonna shoot X amount of missiles, and then where do you re-up missiles?
No, I think we surrender before anything's fired.
Once the missiles are launched, they fucking just piss off.
That's not how you win a war.
Well, now against us,
Okay,
they do.
whatever.
That's not how you win a war.
All right.
Like,
All right, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna pay a bill, and we will be right back.
and we're back. We are back so fucking hard.
Okay, well, I don't think it needed that.
That's not what you wanted, Maddie.
No,
We're back. We're back in a big, bad way.
I like how you act like I gave you some direction. Like, Simon, I want you to come in real strong. Like,
You did
give me a
this.
nice fuck reference if you can.
Just drop an F-bomb right away. Let's see if we can. Oh, no. There's no canceling anymore.
No, this is Trump's
in
country.
charge.
Yeah.
You can say fuck as much as you want.
Yeah. We should
You can just say a whole bunch of things.
We should just play full rap albums on this show now. And
Stop being fags.
Is that true though? Like before you couldn't say whatever, make up the word. I don't remember what the banned words were. But now that Trump's in charge, can you just say on YouTube, I mean? But and
I don't
not
think
get
YouTube hasn't
demonetized
changed.
or
I don't think
whatever.
YouTube
in the
changed.
song or in the lyrics? Lyrics will be censored.
No,
to
not-
say
No,
the
he's
words in the
asking like
song.
if you have a
I'm
YouTube
saying
channel.
like if you had said the jab or whatever, the vaccine, they would
no,
pull your
YouTube has
episode.
remained the same, I believe. Facebook, you can say fag now and
So,
stuff
but
like that.
isn't that weird? Like everybody else is kowtowing, but
You Googled it a little bit. Like I said, they got rid of Black History Month.
well,
they got rid of fucking...
is Google YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, so then, I mean, that'll come, right? Why would they continue to try and make less money for themselves?
Listen, there's a good chance they're going to capitulate big time because they're about to get broken up and they don't want that at all.
YouTube is about to get broken up.
There's going to be an antitrust lawsuit where they're going to argue that YouTube should be its own entity
Is this
outside of
brought
Google.
on by Elon or by
No, this has
well,
nothing to do
by
with that.
Elon would be interesting, right? Because he's trying to make X into what YouTube was. I mean, that would make sense.
No,
Again,
it wouldn't, because they would do the same thing to him down the road. They would just argue that your platform's too big. You have to separate the video from, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Let him go. He's just digging.
Did you want to wait for the post, Joe, to hear the companies that I had looked up with the
Yeah,
DI
because
policy?
we need shit for the post, Joe. So good. Let's talk about who are Adam Curry,
Yeah. Name and a number, come on.
2273 Adam Curry.
Joe's real handler. Mike Baker is just the front.
That would be the best.
I love how he
Gordon
so
says that.
callously just says, "Yeah, my whole family was CIA, whatever." Like, but I'm admitting it to you, so of course,
Yeah.
I'm at arm's length.
That's not how I got
But
on
that's what I came up in. That's not how I
That's
became
not how
an
I got on MTV. That's what I
That's
was
not
gonna
how
say,
I
yeah.
got like none of that comes into play
Yeah.
at all. Knowing what we know now about national,
Everything.
them making hit songs and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Dude, that's so weird. And listen, if really everything is a lie,
Mm-hmm.
then that would make sense, right? Like that's how.
If everything's a lie, everything makes sense.
No, but your family's not a lie.
Maybe they are.
I'm saying
No, your love for Chico is not a lie.
I'm saying-
and that you didn't know that existed until it existed.
I didn't mean that was a lie.
My mom's listening to the podcast, taking notes for CSIS
I
right
meant the
now.
power structure of everything we believed and how it operated.
I know, but like when you're around the campfire, or there's just someone was saying about the pandemic, it was a time for a pause, and everyone got to look at what was going on or whatever, and what really mattered.
Yeah.
These moments that do happen.
You sit in front of the campfire, you look up at the stars that you don't even know if they're real or not.
Well, I'll just say before the internet, you'd have the conversations and just not know, and be all right with
We
that.
ate our steak and it was fucking amazing. Before, you know what? I'll go back to this. I've harped on it forever on this show. The internet was our downfall. Before the internet, we just didn't know. We got to eat our steak in peace, and we went about our days, and we fucked around, and we played outside, and we were all happy.
So Joe gets a fail for not being able to put together Winds of Change and the Moscow Music Peace Festival, which obviously was funded by USAID, and Adam didn't put together that's what put it on. But it's an agency adjacent at the worst.
That was almost insane that they were talking about that and not realizing that's what they were talking about. But just to jump to the end first, because that is the most interesting part of the podcast, is he fucking mentioned Winds of Change. He tried to hum it,
Yeah.
which
But they
confused
did go
Joe
listen to
even
it.
more.
They went and listened to it.
But that is fucking nuts.
But if you try to whistle that and blow it, you're a sucker.
That's good. You're an octave too high, but you're there. Of change.
You're an octave too high.
No, Joe would have known Winds of Change, and Adam Curry can't whistle.
Yeah. Well, apparently.
It would be awesome to have a bird. I tried to train a bird, just played that in front of it, hoping it would pick it up.
That would be amazing.
I think you'd have to do that for like a year, though, Kumar. Kumar just tried it for like a week, and he's like, this fucking bird's broken.
I think there's a parrot that lives to be 300 years old.
I saw the best video the other day of this guy. He's fixing his car in his laneway, and 5 cops roll up. And they're like, we got some calls. The neighbors have been complaining about screaming. And the guy just casually gets up and he's like, fucking Rambo. And then he starts yelling. He's like, Rambo, shut up. And the cop's like, what the fuck's going on? And you see the guy go off screen. And then he comes back out with this parrot on his finger. And the parrot is just screaming like a fucking woman. Like, it's like, bah! It's nuts. It sounded like a woman. And the cop's like, all right, you're good. Rambo.
So back to your...
So sorry, these cops showed up.
Well, they got a call from the neighbors saying it sounds like a woman is
so
screaming.
It sounds like this guy's a murderer and he could just walk away from them into his house to get his parrot.
I never followed up. Maybe there was a dead woman. Maybe there was a dead woman in the backyard. I don't know.
I don't know. That seems weird.
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Kumar.
go ahead.
Yes, so back to he's a CIA plant, talking about the CIA plants. Body doubles in 67. Would you believe that?
100%. You're talking about
seems
like
way
a
easier to-
fake
it's
president?
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, 100%.
No, that's the mask. Body doubles are different.
That's a guy who looks
How so?
just
A
like
body
you.
double is just we found someone that looks just like you. Saddam Hussein had like 50 of them.
Or you find somebody who looks very much like you and then give them plastic surgery to just fix
yeah.
whatever.
No, he said it was a mask.
Okay, that's different.
He said it was a mask in 67.
Because the
That's
body
point
doubles,
of it.
like Dave, the movie
Well,
they were
no.
talking about, that's the plot of Dave.
They talked about,
Well,
have
listen.
you seen Dave?
I don't think so. What is Dave about?
Had Kevin Kline. He plays a regular old Joe.
Who becomes the king?
No, so the president of the United
Designated
States
survivor?
has like a stroke or something, and they don't want to let the public know that the president is like incapacitated. So they find this guy named Dave who looks identical. They don't even tell the president's wife, and then they make this guy Dave the president. But people start noticing, like the wife of
Kevin Kline?
Yeah, no, it sounds familiar, but like
That means you saw it.
I don't know if I definitely couldn't play the game with it.
I'm gonna say it came out in
Don't go there. Don't go there. Back to. Okay, they brought up the body double of Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Sure that there was a different body double, and he broke off and said, on top of that, my sister or her wife's cousin, there was a guy there or a girl there, and they took it off. And this was in 67. The Mission Impossible idea of a mask? Because that's often a thing, just an offshoot is the body double for Epstein.
But wait, just a sec. So if the movies do it, let's just say the movies can make a mask that will trick you into
not
thinking
that- it's
that
not
Tom
that.
Cruise
But the
is
movies
someone
don't
else.
do that. They didn't actually create a mask in Mission
They
Impossible.
just do makeup?
It's just it's CGI. It's a ruse.
Or is it?
No,
No,
okay,
it
but
is.
they use
It could be CIA covert technologies that sort of
All I-
starts there and then gets
all
to the
I'm
silver
saying
screen.
is that the military, that's my point, is if that's what they're doing in Hollywood, then the military is 30 years ahead of that
but
in
they're
their
not.
So
technology.
you agree with Adam Curry?
That they were body doubles, yes.
The 67.
Okay, a body double is very different than someone wearing a
You-
lifelike
Let's say a
silicone
body
mask.
double is a doppelganger.
I believe that in 67, they had a mask that could fool you into believing that somebody was somebody else. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna have to push back on that.
Okay. Are you going to push back?
I have. I don't buy it.
You don't buy it.
No, yeah.
Okay. So you have 1 for and 1 against, Kamar. Adam Curry.
Here's the thing. I think we were a more gullible society back then. Like with the internet, this body double / like Kamar, I remember you pulling up
the
up this.
back of Biden's ear or whatever.
Well, no, I remember at one point it was Jamie Foxx. You pulled up this clip. You were like,
Oh no, that's for sure. For sure. For sure a body double.
I told you there.
You ever seen Cat Williams talk about it with Theo Vaughn?
See,
Come
there you
on.
go. There you go. No.
Stop.
Yeah. No, but that's my point,
You're
right?
so adorable that you believe that.
No, but my point remains that with the internet, it becomes exponentially more difficult.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Back in the day when you were looking at like a black and white television of some guy who looked kind of like Saddam Hussein, you were like, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
of course it's him.
With AI, it's negates that.
Well, AI is a whole other problem.
In
now.
person
It's,
is one thing. And it'd be interesting to see any of those pictures that you saw that's definitely not a person if you were there that day and saw the person.
I mean, we also do this weird thing where, like, now again, you guys know me, so you know this not to be true. But if you didn't know me, if I just showed up and I was like, I'm an MIT grad, and I've created this AI that can look at any photo and tell you if it's photoshopped, and then you give me 10 photos that you think are photoshopped, and I run them through this thing, and I go, no, they're not. The AI says not. You're going to believe me. Why? Maybe I didn't run. Maybe I just hit the space
because you
bar.
lied about your
My
accreditations.
No, and this is my point: is like you talk about AI, like we all have access to it. Like you have ChatGPT, I get that. We have ChatGPT.
I'd say the internet has access to it.
Someone does for sure, but to just assume that they're, I don't know. It's just like access is a weird thing.
No, we're
So
talking about what you're seeing. Like
You're
Yeah.
saying because you can use ChatGPT, just as an example, and you can see what that does, that doesn't mean that they have a sentient AI. They're just giving you something to shut you up. Is that the idea?
No, it's even more, not necessarily that. It's more just that, like, if someone, you don't know how AI works. I don't know how AI works. So
I don't know how anything works.
Of course.
Matt. I don't know how a telephone works.
So you're going to have to trust someone
Oh,
that
yeah,
they've actually
yeah.
run it through this program and that the program.
That's what I'm saying. So there is no program. ChatGPT is like a answering questions thing,
Yeah.
right? It's they figured out how to do that, but there ain't nothing behind it.
Well, even then, what I'm saying is like there might be, I'm not saying this doesn't exist. Like China could have created one AI that is the best. It's 100% accuracy at finding any sort of photoshopped anything. Like even there's probably AI that could say this photo has been like, you know how I touch photos up? Like every photographer just touch.
yeah.
I bet there's AI that can say, here they
Touched
brought
up.
up the
Yep.
hue, here they changed the color a
Well,
bit.
for sure they can because they use it in courts of law. So I
100%,
assume
100%.
that.
So
what?
My
sorry,
point,
go
my,
ahead.
my point remains just that just because China has that AI that's 100% accurate doesn't mean that it's accessible to everyone or that, I don't know, who cares? Well, I don't even know why I'm talking.
I'll agree with Adam Curry with something in this podcast. I don't believe that there's an AI that pulls from different dimensions to get. I think that's total bullshit. I think that's like. Listen, that's something you can never argue because nobody is smart enough. Even the very smartest person is like, well, that's outside of my purview, you know?
He said, I'm going to be interested to see what quantum does because right now I don't believe that.
Well, Joe gave him that example and Adam Curry said that's bullshit.
Well, Mark's on the scene doesn't think it's bullshit.
Fine. I just said on this
So
point,
both sides, both
I
sides,
agree
both
with
sides.
Adam Curry.
Have you ever met someone who you met before and just did not recognize them at all? Because I think people are just ingrained on you. Like our ability to just recognize someone is maybe if you knew them when they're 2 and you met them when they're 32, that might be
That's
hard.
different.
No, I was gonna say that I think once or twice, Kamar. Like I remember this girl I grew up with. So like I knew her when we were like 12, 11. She lost a ton of weight. Like I saw her in like her 30s and she had lost a ton of
You
weight.
still saw some of her in there,
This is the thing. She smiled at me. Like,
and you were like stranger.
well, no, the way she smiled at me was so warm that it was like, I have to know this person. You know what I mean? So your mind starts going through the bank. If I had seen her beside like two-way glass, you know what I mean? Where she didn't see me, I'm not certain I would have, but who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe it's something in the eyes.
Because I also think about, he was talking about Zac Efron.
Yeah, that weird.
And so
yeah.
you put on some pounds.
Or just that
But you
weird.
just recognize people.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
And I think it might be the eyes.
Why Zac Efron?
he looks
just talking
weird now.
about Zac Efron.
Yeah, that's what he meant. He said that. He said
Oh,
Simon and I were.
sorry. I thought you meant Adam Curry. I was like, I missed all of that.
No,
Yeah,
we're just talking about body doubles and
because I was
recognizing
talking about
people.
Zac Efron because his brother is on some reality show I'm watching.
Who the hell's his brother?
This is so funny, Matt. So when they show his brother's name, they write Dave Efron, Zac Efron's brother. Like that's his moniker.
claim to
on,
fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that Zac Efron slipped in his house while he was wearing socks on like the marble floor and smashed his face on an ornamental fountain. This should tell you everything you need to know. And it fucked his whole, like, that's why he looks so weird now. I thought he was like an addict, you know?
Yeah.
Like a
Botox.
Joan Rivers.
Junkie, yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Kamar. I thought I misunderstood.
No problem. It just is interesting what the body double would be required to pull something off.
But like you've seen a doppelganger before, right?
I think I've seen Kamar's doppelganger.
I've seen Kamar's
I've seen
doppelganger.
yours. We've
Yeah.
seen the picture.
Yes, yeah. So
You and Dov.
like it wouldn't take much to take Dov or take me and turn him into Dov.
Do you know the crazy guy that he's like 27 and he's the Tony Stark of the
like the real Tony Stark?
he's a Silicon Valley guy, but he's making weapon systems and drones and he's worth like $10 billion.
I don't know him.
Really?
You're talking about the guy that started Telegraph? The Russian dude?
No. That guy, I think that guy's in jail.
No, I don't think he
This
is.
guy's an American. He's got a neat name, and he was just talking about like, I mean, he's a smart guy, and he was like, my crazy take is Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro's son.
Yeah,
So
we've
that-
heard that
that-
100
that-
times, yeah. But we've also shown photos of a young Pierre Elliott Trudeau, and we all, like, I remember Joe did it.
But what if, because you know Castro had body doubles.
So he's actually no one's
It's a
son.
bodyguard.
So maybe a lot of body doubles died to the hands of the CIA in those 400 attempts. They just never got to Castro. So they succeeded. And they
None
just
of that
didn't
takes
succeed.
away the love for Justin and Pierre. Like that
After
doesn't
the, Simon,
take
after,
anything away from that.
after the 10th victory party, they were like, we got to stop throwing parties.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
We got him.
They throw the victory party and then he fucking comes in on Skype
Yeah, they see him again. Fuck. Go ahead, Kumar.
So
because they had Skype back then, Matt, is what I was.
you can't agree with Adam Curry with his strong religious.
I don't care.
I have no problem with it.
Kumar, I don't care that someone is religious
be
or
religious.
strongly religious.
Do
Do
it.
whatever. I told you, whatever's going to make you happy or be a better person, I'm all for it. Don't push it on other people. That's
Yeah,
it.
and these guys tend to do that. They use their platforms. Even Adam Curry, like he wants other people to become religious. I don't get that because you can be a good person without believing in God.
Yep.
I think that is part of being religious, though.
Is that you have to? It's like you're going to people's door, knocking and giving them pamphlets.
Ask the Church
Jehovah's
of Latter-day
Witnesses.
Saints and those that are actively doing that.
Well, that's because they need members.
They're subtle.
Christianity doesn't need members.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Adam Curry brought that up. Is that's part of immigration?
What
Is the easiest way to grow a country's GDP is add to the population, which creates more of a tax. You're taxing more citizens, more people are making money.
What does that have to do with religion, though?
Pushing religion. Pushing religion. Pushing religion.
What? So you bring in the people. Are they going to join your religion?
No, just all countries are trying.
No, it had nothing to do with religion. You were
Nothing-
just bringing up
No,
that
you
point.
just
That's
brought up
fine.
a whole
Yeah, yeah,
different
yeah.
thing. Okay, that's fine. Just let us know you're doing that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Adam Curry at one point argued with Joe. He
You
was
just
like,
say new topic.
he said both sides will actually want.
Everyone wants it except for Japan, and I think they're on the decline.
Everybody wants.
He said both parties secretly want more people in the country because white Americans aren't having as many kids. They're not reproducing. So the population's becoming elderly. And the only way to fight that, if people aren't having kids, is to bring people in.
So, but Donald Trump doesn't want more people in, right?
Well, he wants legal people in.
But that's going to be less people. Like you can't. The reason they have so many people is because so many people are getting in.
I think if all those illegal immigrants were identified and paying taxes, I think they could stay. But that's one of the problems with them being there. On top of that they're criminals is where the
No, I didn't mean people sneaking in. I just meant having really lax borders where you're letting in all these refugees from wars. You're doing that, right? Like that's what Canada did. We just opened our doors and said, "Come on, everybody, come on the fuck in." And then they're like, "Well, oh shit, now we have a problem."
You don't have a choice.
It's like France. It's like wherever.
Germany.
Yeah, but that's
Sure.
we all signed that accord, so we kind of agreed to do that. It's in the Geneva Convention. I'm pretty sure it's the Geneva Convention.
So
Asylum seekers, you have to provide. If someone shows up, this is the loophole that got them in this problem. Is asylum seekers?
no, but I'm saying so. Sorry, you're saying that Canada and the U.S. have the exact same mandate to let the same amount of asylum seekers
Has nothing
in?
to do with amount. It's just that according to the Geneva Convention, if an asylum seeker shows up, you have to let them in.
Well, why? Okay.
That is why the border problem got so bad, was because the cartel figured this out, and then they just started saying, we know all the steps that will get you in, and we will provide you with said steps for money.
So why did France let in so many? Like, what was their mandate?
Compassion.
Well, they're
But-
part of the
but
Geneva.
on the
They
other
signed the
end,
Geneva
they
Convention
signed-
too.
okay.
Yeah.
It's going to work out that you're going to have more citizens who are going to work and pay taxes. And
That are going to join your culture. That's what everybody
Build-
thought, right?
well, it depends what you set out. Like I said a couple weeks ago,
I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. I'm saying
America's a melting pot and Canada's a mosaic. So it's basically the same, but two different.
But hold on. Why is America a melting pot and Canada a mosaic?
You can't actually pinpoint the day when they decreed that.
No, but I'm saying
No, he's
like,
asking you, why do you
America
feel that way?
still has their own, like the immigrants still do their own thing. Why are they different there? And why are you calling them something different there than you're calling
Because
them up here?
ours is declared a mosaic. Canada's a mosaic. If you look it up, what are the cultural?
Well, I know, but that's just because they didn't want to call it a melting pot because America had already used melting pot, right?
if
It's
that-
just a different name on the same donkey.
No, it would appear a melting pot is everyone buys into this, and a mosaic. Do you?
No, I know, but you know as well as I do that the people who immigrated into the United States, maybe back in like Ellis Island times, but anytime recently, they're not becoming the American dream model. They're just doing their own thing. The same shit they did.
I don't think so. I think it's different.
Am I wrong, dude?
I think it's somewhere in the middle. I get what you're saying. What you're saying is that in this day and age, a lot of people that just show up go to Chinatown and
They
stay
go to
in
their
Chinatown.
mosque and they
Yeah,
do
yeah.
their thing and they have their own holidays. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying there's no difference up here than there is down there
But
when
I'm
it
telling
comes
you,
to
if
that.
you ask someone who could explain it to you, they would say there is a difference, and
Okay.
that may be the biggest difference between Americans and Canadians.
Well, I
But
guess
Kamar,
I
I
would
mean-
need somebody who could tell me why that is to tell me that.
I mean, part of the problem, Kamar, is like I mean, we've been doing this podcast for 6 years, and I don't know in that 6 years if you've been to the States. So you're just going off of what you read online or what the media tells you, no?
No,
No, he had. I mean, maybe not in the fight, but like you've been to New York. We've
I'm
been
not.
to
Hold
New
on.
York.
I'm not saying he hasn't
No,
ever
no,
been
no,
to
no,
the
no.
States.
No, but I
I'm
haven't
just
been in
saying
many years.
you can clearly go to New York and see that there are different parts of town. You know what I mean? Like there's parts of town where you're not going to understand English.
Yeah, I think Kamar's point is that whether they speak English or not, they are all chasing the American dream.
yeah, there's no Canadian dream.
Well, they were also probably trying to make money in their homeland too. They couldn't, and that's why they went somewhere else.
Well,
Be
hold on.
that
Why don't-
because
why don't
the
you push
government
back
was
on-
corrupt.
wait.
No, I'm just talking. I'm not even pushing back on anything. I'm just saying.
No, but that should be pushed back on. What do you mean there's no Canadian dream? Just because
I
again,
think
like
the Canadian dream is to get a cottage. It's
No,
not, it's
it's
not to own a
the-
big company and be rich.
No, it is that. It's just harder to do that here than it is in the United States.
I don't think that is.
That's good. So you
Sidney
think
Crosby,
You
8.7 million.
that's the most he can get?
No, he could have got way more.
Okay.
Just he wants to stay with Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Like
My point is that how much more could he have gotten? 12 million?
Wayne
Stop.
Gretzky.
Okay.
So what is the 4 million worth to you?
My point is those guys are in a market that is capped. They can't make like
Austin Matthews is going to take more money. Wayne Gretzky crying because he got sold for $15 million
yeah.
for $1 million salary.
I'm not sure I understand where this conversation
Are
went.
you talking about super rich Wayne Gretzky? Is this what you're
No, but we were all devastated by that financial transaction. It was a bad thing at that time. You don't remember. You were like, it was the nation.
Yes,
was
we
brought
couldn't
to the
believe that he
knee,
was leaving Canada.
and it was about money, and where the other side like get that bag came.
But that's just a pride thing,
I-
right? Like we were losing
Yeah,
a
it's-
thing that meant
and
a
we're
lot
talking
to
about
us.
national cultures.
Hold on. I'm just curious. 'cause-
Melting pot still debated in the U.S., especially amid rising calls to acknowledge systemic racism and cultural erasure. So that's what they push back against.
So that's kind of agreeing with what I said, right?
Mosaic, Canada models faces challenges balance inclusivity with social cohesion, particularly with newer immigrant groups. Some countries blend both approaches, Australia's cultural diversity.
I'm
So
sorry.
it
none of that
still
made
sounds like
anything
what
to
Simon's
me,
saying,
yeah.
that it's just you're labeling something
with a different
name.
word. And it sounds like Australia did the same thing and just called it something else.
Yeah, kind of. That's what I was getting out of that, Kumar. I'm not trying to be. I'm not
Sorry,
trying
a
to.
melting pot definition, a society where diverse culture groups melt together.
No, I get it.
Blending into a single unified culture. Immigrants and minorities assimilate into the dominant culture, adopting its language, values, and traditions.
So hold on.
So that's melting pot. And then for Mosaic, it's a society where diverse culture groups coexist while retaining their distinct identities like pieces of mosaic contributing to a unified whole.
Who's the Raptors' biggest fan?
It associated with Canada's official multiculturalism policy in 1971. We declared ourselves a mosaic.
Sure. But
No.
what we declare doesn't have anything to do. Like that's a declaration.
And,
that doesn't
that
mean
would
shit.
be saying that like you can come here from, I'm just going to make up a place, Pakistan, and expect to go and understand how to order a hamburger in Urdu.
Look, Kumar. Again, I go back to it like
Like
this.
that's not how it works. You have to learn English. You like that's
Hold on.
It's like you guys are pushing back against the actual
No.
reality of
No.
society.
You gave us definitions, and what I'm telling you is like if you go to Toronto, you will see an Indian dude from India speaking English, wearing a Raptors jersey, fully bought into the Canadian culture, which you don't think
and
exists.
he is going into a melting pot
you
mode.
will also see the opposite of that, Matt. People
Sure, you'll
coming
see a
from the
dude-
same
sure,
place who are not fitting assimilating, thank you, whatever the word is. And I think you will see the same thing in the United States. You will see the super fan and you will see the person who doesn't want to be part of that thing and who wants just what they had at home to be here. And it's not a bad thing. I just think we're the same in that regard. That's all I'm saying.
I also think we're being weird because what we're talking about only exists in major cities. I think we should. I think that needs to be made.
Because you go to like a small town and they don't have a Chinatown?
Maybe
Yes.
this
Well,
will
that's
help.
because they only have one.
No, but they also don't have a lot of
no.
immigrants.
Yes,
Every
that's
town
true.
has
That's
a
true.
Chinatown.
No. Every city has a Chinatown.
No,
Hold on,
I
hold
was
on.
into one of the remote places in northern BC, and there was a Chinese restaurant.
My
No,
point
but
is this.
So that's a Chinese restaurant. It's not a Chinatown.
It was Chinatown.
My point is this.
There were multiple Chinese
No,
restaurants.
there was only one street.
My point is this: you go to Thunder Bay, Moose
Chinatown.
Jaw. Yeah, I'm not saying there isn't a Chinatown. What I'm saying though is those are predominantly white cities. Are they not? They're white Canadian cities. I wouldn't say there's a ton of like the Indian population in Canada. Where do you think they live?
Brampton.
the cities.
Brampton and fucking Burnaby.
I'm sure. No,
No, but I'm just saying with the melting pot thing, like it really is a city issue.
If this might clear it up, and then we'll have to move on. The key difference is cultural identity. In a melting pot, it's blended into a dominant culture. In a mosaic, it's retained and celebrated. So that moves on to with integration model, you want assimilation in the melting pot. You want multiculturalism in a mosaic.
Okay. So by that standard, then America shouldn't let other churches open up.
This is the biggest difference. The focus in a melting pot is unity through sameness, and in a mosaic, it's unity through diversity. And these are what our countries have defined and
But
as.
I go back to it, and I'll die on this hill. Outside of the major cities, Canada is not a diverse country. There's Native Americans or Native Canadians.
You could say the same thing about America.
I would.
Okay.
Yeah, but we live here.
So
Well, no, but we're comparing the two places.
we were
That's what
declared
doing.
officially a mosaic with Canada's Multiculturalism Act in 1988. So that might have been Brian Mulroney. Melting pot is a stew. A mosaic is a stained glass window.
This is crazy. Let's move on because we're not going to agree.
Well,
on
no,
this,
that's
I don't
look
think.
at
they're the same thing.
At the end of the day, he's giving us definitions. We see it slightly differently than he does. I mean, he doesn't think Canada has a culture, so there can't be
multiculturalism.
No, but I think it's like they're so similar, but just like two ships leaving at the same, they end up at different places, far, far away.
You didn't describe that properly, but I get what you're saying. If one's 1 degree off, 1,000 miles away, they're very far apart.
again,
They're basically the same.
I would agree with you if you didn't go to all these American cities and see all these different neighborhoods. Like that just kind of goes totally against what we're talking
You
about.
think there's
here.
still segregation? And that
Dude,
not be
of
negative.
course there is. They have their own churches. They have their own fucking
But the
restaurants.
cities are
They have
not.
their. But
Yes, cities tend to be more diverse. Once you leave the major cities, this is my personal experience. I'm not saying there aren't immigrants or there aren't, and again, I'm actually talking about race, to be completely honest at this point, as ugly as that is, but like,
I mean, it probably, if I was to guess, Matt,
Yeah.
it probably has to do with jobs and that these people, not the immigrants coming in, because these smaller towns are more racist, have a way harder time.
no, but I'm like, what I'm saying is like
Getting work.
Immigrant's a weird word because if you go to Minnesota, there's a shitload of Nordic immigrants, as in like in the 20s and 30s, all these people from Nordic countries came and became American, whatever. So those people are technically, immigrants, right?
Yeah, no, so maybe you're right. And maybe we're just too soon in the conversation. And 50 years from now, all these people who've come in and remain segregated just end up becoming part and parcel of the thing. Like I
Maybe.
guess we won't know.
Let's move on. Adam Curry, sorry. This is the stupidest argument.
Yeah,
I don't even
agreed.
care.
I totally
Don't
agree.
give a fuck.
I just had someone rammed. I thought we were melting pot, and someone yelled at me about how we were mosaic. I thought they were full of shit. They looked it up and said, "Fuck."
But again, those are just declarations.
Zero yelling and
Well, it's an act here.
and again, I think that you're reading two definitions and we're looking at two things that are almost identical.
No, he was saying he got into it with someone else about the melting pot thing. He just said that. He said someone else, I got into it with them and they were hammering it down to me, which is why he's bringing it up to us.
Got it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I looked it up, and it is distinct. I don't think there's any different. Well, I my criticism, but anyways, I digress.
Fuck me.
Do you think that Joe might just get too big, and Joe actually want to pull the plug?
God, I hope so. I pray.
You know what
every
I
day.
mean?
You know, like in Good Will Hunting? Like every Tuesday, I open my fucking Spotify app, and he's releasing.
He's not
Yeah,
there.
first of all, he's releasing Monday episodes now, which is a fucking.
Because how Adam was giving the flowers for swinging the tide, the good work. He loves Elon. Adam loves Elon. Joe is got to be aware, and maybe I don't want this anymore.
No, he wants this.
Especially-
He
No, I
loves
feel
this.
like
He
it's
loves
tickling
this.
his balls with a
he loves
feather. I
this.
think, yeah, I'm with Matt. I think that when guys like that say you swung the election, you did this, you saved, that's like everything he wants. Because what's the end goal? If he doesn't care about the money, then what is Joe in it for, you know?
Well, back to Mike Benz, and we had said it.
5'3" statue.
Speculated that there was
Many
there's a guy
5'3"
that he
statues.
said he could play the planet like an orchestra, and it was even easier back when the contact points were just TV and radio.
Yeah, I believe
Joe's got to be aware of this influence. Do you see in any? I mean, for hunting, I guess he's pushing people to hunt or promote that, but where he's trying to squeeze out because he's got so much influence and power.
Well, maybe on the health thing. Maybe he really feels like
Alpha
that's
Brain. Well,
like,
he doesn't talk about Alpha Brain anymore,
Well, because he's
He's
not
not
part of
involved.
that company anymore, is he?
but he still takes it.
Well, he also at the same time always says, well, I take another company's one too. So
I just think,
Anyways.
I just think it's crazy that like how people just hate him now.
Rogan?
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people, I think we were just talking about this the other day, who will sit there and tell me to my face something about Joe Rogan. And I'm like, you fucking idiot. I've listened to how many hours of this guy? I can categorically tell you that's not true.
I told
and
you
this
my
is
analogy.
coming from a guy who fucking
Doesn't wanna do
disagrees
this,
with
yeah.
Joe Rogan all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
Kamar, my analogy was it's like I witnessed a murder and you read an article about the murder.
Yeah.
And then you're going to tell me what went down.
what went down at the fucking murder?
And what can you do? And to what gain? Like sticking up for it almost
Oh,
makes you buy a swastika shirt.
I don't stick up for it because that person obviously just wants to fight with you. You know what I mean? So what am I going to stick up for Joe Rogan and have the, no, I
know,
have way better things to do with my
My
time.
favorite thing is it's a big flag that you don't listen to our show because like friends of mine will be like, oh, you only feel that way because you listen to Joe. And I'm like, you obviously don't listen to my show because I spend 3 hours a week shitting all over Joe Rogan and his opinions. And now you're here shitting on me and my opinions just because I listen to Joe Rogan. You know what I mean?
You guys do not like Joe for completely different reasons.
It's not that I don't like Joe. Listen,
No. Just,
Then they don't like Joe,
just for
100%.
ease of getting through it.
Yeah.
No. We're just, he and I use that as an example, meaning that we're unbiased in this because we're willing to toot Joe's horn and tell him when he's wrong.
I mean that's where I find peace and serenity with you guys. That you can do that. Have two things going on at the same time. You know what I mean?
yeah, listen, I like the show. I like unedited, open forum, long discussions. I like the idea of that. I don't like the idea that I'm forced to listen to 12 hours of people I necessarily wouldn't listen to if I didn't have to. That's what really bothers me. But like, I didn't find it hard to listen to Mike Benz, but listening to Bridget Phetasy, I was like, this is just like pulling teeth. Like I'd rather be getting a root canal right now.
Yeah,
than
I mean,
this
in
fuck.
all fairness, you like Monday comes out, there are no podcasts. Like in the world of podcasts, nothing is out on a Monday. I've already listened to everything. So to listen to Bridget wasn't a big deal because I was just craving any sort of podcast at that point. I get it. If you have to listen to her after everybody else, that's tough.
Oh no, but let me also explain to you how my week goes.
This is very important.
Monday, I don't look at Spotify. Tuesday, I reluctantly look and then intentionally don't listen. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this to myself. Wednesday rolls around, I don't look again.
You got a problem.
Okay, by Thursday, now I'm a little panicked, but I'm like, let's hope there's only 2 out. And again, I don't look. Friday after work, I get home, usually Mary works. That's when I open it up and I start binge listening, and it's probably to my detriment. Like when I had a 9 to 5 job, like when I was driving for you.
I was going to say driving. That's your big. I drive all the time.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get them all out of the way while I'm doing something else.
No, listen, when I had any of those driving jobs that I had, I was done everything like when they came out. Like it would drop, I'd listen to it, it was done.
Dude, when I was driving, I was like, thank God for Joe Rogan because I'd kill myself.
Again, I prefer music. Like I could get through a day of driving listening to music way easier than any podcast.
You know what's so funny here?
What about you at work? Sorry, just real quick. At work, are you all podcasts or any music?
He can't listen to anything.
No, work is podcasts.
No, I mean if he's
Oh,
painting.
painting, yeah.
No, I listen to podcasts at work. I get in trouble all the time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm just small.
But painting is mostly podcasts?
Hear me out. I'm setting 400 tables.
Yeah, of course.
For 8 hours.
Yeah, I get
by
it.
myself in a corner with cutlery.
I'm not saying
I'm
that
listening
you
to podcasts.
shouldn't. I'm just surprised that they let you.
They
That
don't.
was
They do
more
not
my,
let me.
My
Don't be
question,
surprised.
Kamar, is what is the percentage podcast to music?
Painting,
Like, what's the
oh, no,
ratio?
I can't. If it depends, because if you are say in a situation where it's an empty house, it'll be
There'll
music.
be one music playing for everyone.
and that'll be music.
Gotcha.
If you have to be quiet or whatever, it's podcasts.
Okay, I understand. I get you.
Like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I worked at Simon's Warehouse, it was all podcasts
Gotcha. When you were doing Keith's Place.
with music playing up top. Keith's Place, all podcasts for
Gotcha.
sure.
Understand. Okay.
Because it's just as the conversation goes by, the task goes by.
It's true. That's
I
how,
understand.
like when I work, and if nobody's in there, I have music playing that plays all the time. And then I just have an earphone in. So I'm music and
you hated me
podcasts.
for it for a year.
Like it's funny. Like
Well,
Mary's
it's
always
because I
like,
couldn't get in touch with you when we were sitting right beside each other. Fuck.
Like you didn't know I was.
I didn't know you were listening to Joe Rogan. That's for sure.
like Mary will be like, why don't you listen to the podcast on the treadmill? And I'm like, I'm telling you,
That's a good idea.
No, I cannot. I can't spend 2 minutes on the treadmill if a podcast is on.
But could you
Really?
spend?
Oh.
Could you spend John Wick on it?
No,
It has to be music.
it has
is
to
what-
be 100%. It's the only thing that will keep me moving on that fucking treadmill.
You know when I listen to music when I'm driving? When I have somebody else in the car with me? Because then I can show them how many lyrics I know. You know what I mean? Like that's like the fun of it is what song do you know and what song do you don't? Like you
And
know,
you harmonize.
yeah, sure, and we harmonize. But and this is probably a defect in me, but I feel like if I'm driving and I'm wasting my time, I at least want to like get information out of the deal. You
Who
know?
do you think knows more lyrics, me or you?
Well, you know more rap lyrics for sure.
What do you think if
You.
we got rid of rap?
You.
I think I know more lyrics.
No way.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm glad you know that for sure.
No.
Oh,
I
Simon.
disagree.
I get shocked when he when he
Rap
raps songs like
for-
that. No, but
Simon,
nobody.
Simon, we can get
it's
rid
too
of
many.
rap.
It's too many.
We can get rid of rap.
Too many.
Sorry,
I will.
and we have to go like nothing past the 90s.
You need someone to
I'd kill
hum
you.
you the tune, and then you get there.
Oh no,
that's
I
not
would
fair.
have to hear the song.
need-
I can't just pull it out of
you
the
need a lot
air.
more than he does.
But as soon as you start playing the song, I know all the lyrics. And sometimes I amaze myself. I'm like, I can't even believe I know that song.
It's a bad song.
God, I'd crush you. It's hilarious.
it's
This is
in-
one
it's
thing.
in
This is
my
one
brain.
thing in life that I'm like so certain I'd be
he
just
tell
10
you-
Well,
times
you also
better.
said you could get the fucking curling stone in first try. So
Oh, a curler this week. Back me up on that.
45 songs. We went 45 songs deep.
I
Yeah,
heard,
Kamar
listen,
went-
I'm
Where's the text?
I'm fucking terrible at that. I'm
Sorry, for listeners-
I'm part of that text chain, Kamar. I saw you guys talking. I saw what you said. Fuck.
For listeners, I host trivia nights and I do these lightning rounds. So if you're in the top 3 teams at the end of a round, you have to come up and you have to do the lightning round. And one of the lightning rounds is always music, where I play a clip of a song and you got to tell me the name of the artist. And Kamar went back and forth with this other guy this week and they did 45. And they're not easy. Like in Kamar's defense, dude, the last 15 songs were like B-side 80s fucking.
I'm not coming down on him. I've seen him do it. It's fucking nuts.
Kamar's really
I
good.
was super amazed.
Kamar's really good.
because I'm
deep
terrible.
waters.
I find that anytime I get up and I'm like under pressure in front of people,
Yeah, it's tough.
I can't make my brain work. But sitting next to Halima, I come up with the answer like that. You know,
Yeah.
in the bar,
Yeah.
like it's just that extra
'Cause you
pressure.
need to be your hero, baby.
Blanks my fucking brain. No, it's really I'm not good under pressure.
I tell people though all the time.
Have
like,
you ever done a lightning round?
Yeah, he's done one. Yeah.
I've won.
Okay, well that's pressure.
Yeah,
That's
hey.
that's what everyone we sit at all the table and everyone's like, you go, and
You
like,
know-
I already went.
You know what lightning round I won?
The music.
No.
Canadian
Canadian
prime
prime ministers. The people were so stupid.
He who sits there and like acts like a vampire when Canadian politics comes
Well,
up.
listen,
Just goes to
it's,
show
all
you.
I'm saying is it's in my brain.
How do I know this?
It's
shit?
like the lyrics, Matt.
Oh, Simon, it's so ridiculous that you think that there's even a contest here.
Well, I don't listen. I'm just telling you I know a lot of lyrics.
Oh, I'm not denying that you do, but I'm legitimately, I'm one of the dumbest people on earth. I don't have a lot of things going for me. I bet I know more song lyrics than 99.9% of the population.
I bet you Adam Curry knows more than both of you.
I doubt that.
You think he just stopped at Yacht Rock?
Yeah, I think genre-wise,
Margaritaville.
I think genre-wise, I probably beat Adam Curry. I'm just telling you.
I mean, maybe you're right. You say that you don't listen to podcasts, that you only listen to music. So maybe you're right.
Rap is 50 years old. So
That's so staggering. That's so
you know what's
fucked up.
also interesting? Tonight there's a super extravaganza
For Saturday Night
SNL,
Live?
50
Yeah.
years old. Have you ever heard of Burger Shack?
Shake Shack?
No, Burger Shack. The Burger Shack is one in Toronto, 50 years old.
Oh, I
I
don't think I've
ate
heard
there
of
the
it.
other day.
Is it good?
It's amazing. It's since 1975.
Have you ever eaten at Shake Shack?
No,
I
I've
ate
never
at
had
Shake Shack
no.
in Toronto.
Shake Shack.
Shake Shack? Shake
No
Shack?
good, you didn't like
they,
it.
They have
No,
a Shake Shack in Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah, but who knows what they're using the right beef
But it feels
and
like
the right,
but
you
it feels
know?
like it's a Hard Rock Cafe.
But Simon, that's why
Really?
2 floors, all nice. It's weird.
In-N-Out won't do anything else. Because their whole thing is they're like, we can't guarantee the beef. We can't guarantee the same ingredients, so we're not going to bother.
I hear like all the time on like TikTok and shit, people come on and like rate their top burger. So many people go with Five Guys over
I think Five Guys is the
In-N-Out.
best.
Like the majority of the people find In-N-Out not great in comparison to like Five Guys.
Five Guys, I think, is the best of multiple locations, especially burgers.
No.
But Umbrella Burgers is all right.
Umbrella Burger is way better than Five Guys.
I know, but that's a boutique.
I get it.
I don't think I agree with that.
Five Guys is not a great burger.
Well,
I
okay,
disagree.
I'm
Five Guys
sorry,
is
I'm
a
sorry.
good
This is
burger.
amazing post-show discussion
Okay.
because no one talked about
Because
burgers.
Fair enough.
'cause
Yeah.
nobody
no, burgers
cares.
were not brought up. You are correct, Kamar. Yeah.
Everyone should stop smoking.
Isn't there another movie called Dave about the guy who started McDonald's?
No, that's called Founder. And his name was Ray Kroc.
Dave would be Wendy's story, which should come out sometime.
Dave Thomas.
Yeah, so you should stop smoking, but you can vape. It's a little bit better. He broke down vaping because he's really into vaping.
I like how Joe was like, I don't know, man. I just couldn't have this like in my pants or my fanny pack. And I was like, that is the purpose of a fanny pack,
What
Joe.
are you putting in
Yeah.
your fanny pack that you
It's-
can't fit this thing?
It's just all protein
but
powder
there's-
like to the
there's
top.
no-
There's no
there's
room
no
for
way.
chicken nuggies and protein
hunting
powder.
magazines all rolled up. like, what are you carrying in there?
There's no way that you could not hate Joe more if you saw him take a big rip off a fucking gadget. What do they call him? Gear?
Blow it out
He
like a
starts-
dragon.
He's pushing the O's. That
Rings
was
through
fucking
rings.
hilarious.
Thank your lucky stars. He also had a health scare with his ears and suggested everyone get a 360
An
head
MRI.
Well, it was
MRI.
because his ears were because of he had an infection in his mouth. That's
The
what
teeth,
caused
the
his,
teeth, yes, yes.
which is so weird, eh? And I heard another.
I really don't think
There
that's
was
weird at
this
all.
guy came in. He was like, he used to smoke tons of weed, and all of a sudden he's buying edibles. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I can't smoke weed anymore. It's making me sick. It's like, I don't know what's going on. It turns out that he had to have a tooth impacted, and then he could smoke weed again. Like it was that fucked up. You know
Well,
what I
but
mean?
it just whatever here is so close to the brain.
Another guy came in, totally different topic, but he said, used to smoke weed all the time. Now, no matter what weed I smoke, it tastes like manure.
Weird.
Like
He must
something
have gotten,
just
hypnotized.
went
and
in
would
his
not know it.
brain.
That's a
and
curse.
Isn't that weird though? It's like the people who get bit by the tick and then can't eat the steak anymore.
I mean, Drastic used to smoke tons of weed, and he started getting violently ill. And he went to the doctor, and they were like, "Yeah, you have this. I forget what it's called. Like, it's a very specific
You're
weed.
allergic. So he made himself allergic to weed.
It's not allergic. It's not an allergy. It's like this. I can't remember the fucking term for it, but he was like, anytime I smoke weed now, I'm like sick for like 3 days.
So peculiar,
Yeah,
eh? Isn't that weird about drugs that you can take a drug and I can take a drug and we feel the same thing?
Yeah.
Even though like our bodies are different. But like,
I can't. I think I couldn't disagree with that more.
Well,
It's
what I
just
was
everyone's completely different.
I was actually going to
That's-
push back and say we might describe the same feeling, but not feel it the same. Does that make sense? Like I can say
The
to you,
biggest thing for me is alcohol, because there's people I'm sitting around now that can drink. I cannot.
but like Coke, you do Coke, I do Coke. We're both going to be like
high strung.
talking and blah, like you don't do Coke and withdraw.
Some people do.
Do they? Okay. So maybe I'm wrong.
We have
Some
a
people, cocaine is like MD. No,
A downer?
ADHD. That reaction, it calms them actually down because they're hyperactive. I'm not saying anyone in particular that I know of. I would say heroin is probably uniform or fentanyl.
Simon, we have a friend that does coke and gets like very quiet and like
Really?
yes, yeah.
It's because once
okay,
again,
sorry.
everyone's different.
I should have said for the most part.
I can't disagree with that more.
You smoke weed, you're going to get relaxed. Yes, there are some people who get anxious
Yes,
and
okay,
shit, but
okay.
they're the outliers.
For the most part.
I'm somewhere in the middle where I agree with you, but I agree with him where like we can both agree it relaxes us, but the relaxation feeling can be completely different.
Because we don't know.
Exactly. Like I'm not in your head. So you can say to me, like we could both smoke the same joint and you could say, man, I'm so relaxed right now. And I could go, oh man, I'm also so relaxed right
And
now.
I can smoke and have anxiety.
Sure. But what I'm saying is I'm trying to use the same baseline.
I understand.
Yeah.
You know which one is the same though? You're right. Heroin is the same
Yeah.
for everybody. I
think so.
It doesn't matter who you are. You take enough heroin and you're going to be
lights
that
out,
person.
Because there's the people who say that mushrooms never work.
What about DMT too?
Well,
You
no,
said that DMT everyone.
I don't know everyone who's done it, but
Sorry, I don't include psychedelics in that because my mushroom trip and your mushroom trip are 100% different, and we could be doing the same mushrooms.
That's
you know,
true. But there are universal things like
no, but sometimes the three of you are
are connected. Yeah, no, totally. And there are some things like, did you ever? The way I described it was when I would start tripping, I could watch the world breathe. So I would be sitting on a couch and I could feel like my breath took over
It was
everything.
you breathing, yeah.
No.
You notice your eyes when you go.
Obviously, but that's when I would know I'm about to get fucked up. You
Yes,
know what
yes,
I mean?
yes.
That moment of the world breathing was me. That's so poetic, eh?
it's interesting because I
So good to compliment yourself
Yeah,
as
well,
your
no, I-
midpoint.
Pat myself on the back. You guys were doing it.
I
I was
found
waiting for you to finish to give you your flowers.
Well, I was done. Go ahead.
I found with mushrooms it was like with mushrooms for me it was like I described it as DVD vision. Now keep in mind I was 20 and DVDs were new at the time, but like it felt like when I used to do mushrooms, the world became sharper.
We have had this exact conversation before because then I'll tell you
what you
that
told me
time
before.
I saw the eclipse and everything. It was like we were at school, there was an eclipse going on, and you look around and everything is sharper than it was before.
Yeah.
It was a light thing, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But that's that same. So that's our conversation again. Good.
Okay, come on, let's finish up Adam Curry. We're giving the Boneyard guy like 10 minutes and then we're fucking donezo.
You're the host. So Adam thinks the future is in local public podcasts.
That's what he got to right up
That
there.
honestly,
Simon's
that might have
fucking
been
chagrin.
the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard on this show. And we've heard some fucking
So
No,
it's probably
he's
the
about
thing
to take his kudos on this one, so slow down, Matt.
It's probably the thing to do. So
Slow
Lance
down.
down today. We have because did you ever listen? Maybe you're too young, but I'm dialed into Energy 1200 on what's going down at the hockey game and the thing. And my criticism of that idea is it only works if it's sort of live streaming.
Well, and just to fight back a little bit on Adam Curry, that makes sense, Kamar, if you're starting a new podcast and you want your fans to be people from your hometown, which you're going to talk about hometown stuff. But if you're talking to Americans about Ottawa politics, that's not the same thing.
I mean, listen, first of
If
all,
you're talking to Austrians.
let me tell you.
No, they're
hold
not
on.
part of your community.
Let me tell you exactly why it doesn't work.
We are not a local podcast.
We're not a local podcast.
And you're upset that we didn't choose
Well, no,
that
I'm
route.
just
So
saying,
maybe
how
we
many fans from Ottawa do we have? If they're 90%, then yes, we're going to start talking about Canadian politics all the time.
Here's
Okay,
why,
well,
here's
let us
why
know.
his idea doesn't work. If you live in a city with 40,000 people, let's say, you're capped at probably that many listeners, right? Because no one outside of your county is going to want to listen to that podcast,
Yep.
right?
But you could get 1 million listeners in Ottawa.
Sure, but then the problem is the city is too big to cover all of, so you're not going to get 1 million people listening because people in Canada are like, this guy only covers Centertown.
Yeah, that'd be a different podcast.
I'll tell you this much in his defense.
And sorry.
No, you pick. You talk, or I can defend you, whatever you want.
Defend me.
In his defense,
In his defense, what the fuck was I going to say? I was going to say, oh yeah, if I knew there was an Ottawa podcast where I could get the real skinny on what the fuck is going on, I might tune into that podcast. But I know that if I turn on CBC radio, I'm just going to get one side of the coin. And if I turn on this one, I'm just going to get one side of the coin. So I don't bother.
Well, actually, that's one more thing I want to bring up. Them talking about how much money the USAID or whoever put into the news makes you feel like, because when Trudeau did, he gave $60 million. It's a lot less money, but it's the exact same thing. Like, oh, everyone does this.
Well, when you find out that Dan Rather and Tom Brokaw, both of those guys were CIA agents working for competing news networks, giving you, not you, but Americans, all of their news. They trusted these guys implicitly.
Coke owns Pepsi. So what I think why you're pushing
think
back
that's true.
is you think the local podcast doesn't work because it would not be able to generate advertising revenue, and I think it would be all crowd funded. So it'd be
Way
local.
worse. Way
And couldn't
stupider.
you get local ads then? Wouldn't that actually be
Yes,
like
actually,
easier?
no, yeah, exactly. man, no.
Fabric
People,
land.
people who could
Fabricland.
actually benefit from the ads they're putting on. Yeah, Fabricland. Let's get Fabricland.
Let's
as a
go
sponsor.
local. Let's go local. Let's go local.
We want fucking Denali's Toyota to sponsor our podcast.
Let's go local.
No, I'm telling you, this might be the fucking it. And you know what? All the power to him because he's trying new stuff, and he's like, I just don't think this guy realized. Like, it was so weird when he was like,
Pray more and do local podcasts.
Obviously.
what did he say? He's like, there's only really 400,000 active podcasts. That's not a lot. I was like,
What planet are we living on?
it's like that's dude.
You haven't done the movie game yet, Kamar.
First of all, there's
figure it out.
there's probably 50 podcasts on Earth that get listened to that have like a substantial amount.
No,
of
there's
listen.
200. That's what the chart. There's
Okay,
200
fine.
rated on the
No.
chart.
There's 200 rated on the chart. That doesn't mean that the number 200 isn't getting 15,000 downloads an episode. This guy's fucking freebasing hash
so
over
weird,
here. Yeah.
man. It's so weird. He hasn't put it down once.
I
He's
know.
shifted it from hand to hand.
No,
He's put it down his pants for a while.
You know what? In his defense, it was 2 grams and now it's 2.4 because of all the fucking finger muck that he's just been.
This was 7.
It's all just nail
Yeah.
polish.
I'm interested to see Adam Curry is a trendsetter. So what he said about AI and he thinks Elon's good and this insight is good. So I give this 2.5.
You didn't get to. I'm sorry. You didn't get to speak
Bitcoin?
about Bitcoin, which I thought was an important part
I
of this.
kept
But
coming
you don't
back to
want to.
ask
Don't
that.
worry
We'll
about it.
save it for the post show. I don't really care. I just think that like
Matt doesn't care.
You agree with him that Bitcoin's real, the rest are bullshit.
No, nobody
no.
is monitoring Bitcoin. There's nobody in charge, right? That was your point.
no, there's many. Listen, as I have Bitcoin, so I'm not sitting here cacaing something, hoping that I hope it stays up and
So does-
continues.
so does Adam.
and continues to go up. So don't think that I'm like this. I'm not trying to spread FUD. I'm telling you where my concerns lie as an investor.
He said spread FUD.
Yeah, fear, uncertainty,
Yeah,
and doubt.
I
yeah.
got it. Isn't that a
GameStop.
GameStop thing?
Yeah, no, it's just in general. It's a term in the
To
market.
the moon.
To the moon,
hands.
diamond hands.
Again, that's all just Wall Street bets shit. No,
But it's the fever pitch that
Yeah,
catches
yeah.
on with us stupid humans or smart ones who get in on the right time and out at the right time.
so my first problem is sort of a double-edged sword. You don't know who created it, and that guy has 1 million Bitcoin.
Hitoshi Hiroshima.
It's
Hitoshi Naruto something.
yes,
Yeah.
close. You're real close.
Thank you. I think I got the first name right.
It's Nakamoto, I believe. Satoshi Nakamoto. Anyway, that 1 million Bitcoin can sink the market tomorrow. If whoever that is decides I'm selling all of
And
it.
that's a scary thought
Yes, of course. Yeah.
because they're telling you that they don't know who that is.
Yes.
But they could very well know who that is. It could be Joe Biden.
It could also be someone that's dead, in which case that 1 million Bitcoin is never going to move. It will sit there
Is that a
indefinitely.
good thing or a bad thing? Because it means that like
it's good because it will never-
makes
it's-
everything else more valuable.
Yeah, because
right?
the scarcity, that 1 million, you can burn that. Consider it burnt. It's gone. It's done. It's
Right,
no
so
longer.
that's good for
Yes, so it is good. However, you then have like the quantum computer argument, which is like, let's say I have, I don't know, let's say I have 1 Bitcoin. So right now I'm sitting on 100K. And let's say I got in at like 1,000. So I'm sitting on good returns. If tomorrow someone turns on a quantum computer, in theory, they can mine all the Bitcoin in like a minute.
all that's left.
Do you know how much Bitcoin is left?
I don't know.
I think more than there is right now. So if you,
I always thought it was like very rare, but yeah, okay.
it's Simon, it's rare because as time goes on, it becomes harder to mine. It's harder to create a Bitcoin. The further down, the more halvenings there are.
Yeah, you're speaking fucking Japanese to me now with
That's fine.
mining Bitcoin.
What I meant is like when in the early days of Bitcoin, you could mine a Bitcoin relatively easily. Now it is exponentially more difficult, and the further we go down, the harder
It
it
gets
will
harder
become.
and harder,
Yes, so
but not with the quantum computer. That makes
that
it
wipes it
easier
all
and
out.
easier.
Yes. So my main concerns lie there with that the market can be wiped out
Mm-hmm.
basically overnight. Let's move on. I give Adam Curry a
2.
2.5.
I mean, sorry, he gets a 3 because he gets a full point for winds of change.
No, they just missed it.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Why are you saying they missed it? Because they absolutely. He said the
It
words.
was
He wants-
strangers in the night.
You
It
want the
was so
pod? You
close.
want him to mention the podcast itself. That's
The podcast.
Yes.
No,
ones
no,
have
no. I don't
changed.
need the podcast. I needed the connection of U.S. aid and Benz to U.S. aid. And
well, in their
Well,
defense,
I mean,
we
look-
only made that connection this week.
I think we knew all along. And Adam Curry looks in the mirror and says, "I'm a CIA agent."
Well, we knew it was CIA. We didn't know it was
Adam Curry takes off his face and he's Mike Baker. Ta-da!
ta-da. That does it. And on that note,
Okay, let's give Boneyard 10 minutes.
2271, dumpy old grumpy John Reeves.
okay, I'm going to tell you something about this podcast because I checked. The Bone Man, they did not mention bones until 1 hour and 36 minutes into this podcast.
Yeah, it was just a pro-American. We're great Americans. Joe's a great
this
American.
is what is wrong
Yeah.
with this podcast
Yeah.
is that's not what I tuned in for. I
Yeah.
tuned in to listen to fossils. And like Kamar said, this motherfucker's on the clock. So unless he's going to come out and show us something new, like the Neanderthal bones he finds,
Yeah.
then what's the point?
It's like we're watching the plot of the porno and we only get a little bit of action. You know what I mean? Like we have to watch the 15 minutes
Yeah.
of the pizza boy showing up and getting seduced, and then we get 30 seconds of head
But this guy
when
is-
we've really tuned in for the head.
This guy is pretty much that woman you hate who said, read the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like come to my museum and look, but if not, you just got to take my word for it.
Well, what about these people? Fuck them.
It's also funny
Well,
too.
what
He's
about
like,
these people? Fuck them.
they literally, you're not wrong. The first hour and a half was just him being like, why don't we just go in and nuke all the fentanyl fucking places? Like,
What do you think will happen? Just mental exercise. If the Americans decided to put the military against the
someone would run down the hall and be like, excuse me, we're in the middle of something here.
against the cartels.
What happened in
Is it-
Afghanistan?
Well, they fought a war for years and years and years because they were fighting on somebody else's turf. Is that what you think is going to happen?
The fact that the cartels are so embedded,
Yeah.
they don't have the base of cartel that you just have a war with that. It'd be like Gaza.
But because the cartels are not connected, there's many different.
Well, what if they connect?
Is
if
that
they have to?
well?
for a
That's
common
the.
thing?
This is what I mean. Like I just don't
it's
think
a war
it's,
that can't be won
I
because
don't
they
think.
have a lot of money.
I don't think it's as easy as this guy made it seem. Like they're just going to go drop
It's
a
a
nuke
war
on the
that can't be
cartels.
won because it's funded by the U.S.
Well, that's a whole-
I
that's a
don't
whole
even
other
understand what
problem.
we're talking about right now.
Well,
Like,
no. If Trump decided to fight the cartels, presumably he's doing that, not fighting himself.
why do you think I said off the rip? You asked what would happen. And I said someone would run down the hall. Neither of you caught that. What I meant is like you're literally fighting your own government. So someone from the DEA down, someone down the hall has to run down and be like, no, that's us.
No,
that's
but
us.
wait, Trump-
That's common.
Trump doesn't have a problem with that, right? Like he's willing to fight himself if it's to get his.
That's like when the DEA gets busts the detective. Like, man, I've been on this case for 3 months.
Yeah.
They don't know. It happens all the time.
I heard him say that, and I've heard other people. Well, the military guy was on, remember? And he was like, "Yeah, we'll just go in and wipe them out in 2 seconds." Or maybe
Yeah.
it was Mike
Yeah,
Baker.
yeah,
Who
yeah.
fucking knows? I can't remember anymore.
The one thing I thought interesting is that I don't know why he was talking about it, but I guess it was because of universities and endowments for stuff. The funding, people are crying foul about the funding, the U.S. aid or whatever is given to universities for research. And we know some of these universities have so much fucking money.
Harvard.
They do not, and it doesn't even make sense.
Now, don't get me. Yeah, I don't understand that either. But
Well, free money is free money.
Well, they should force Harvard at this point, since Harvard has their
Like
endowment.
make churches pay tax.
Harvard's endowment is so large that the interest they make off their money, they could infinitely let students go there for free.
Mm-hmm.
And so they should do that.
But then you see the news and the Democrats like, no, this is for important research.
you don't get nothing for free.
First of all, everyone that graduates ends up donating $50,000 to $100,000. That's where you get your money back, because they all do it anyway. It's crazy. Imagine spending $400,000 on school, leaving, and then being like, "I'd like to give you guys another $400,000."
Well, that's what they're so worried about.
And then when
here,
I get my job, I want to give you $50,000 a year.
is that you're
till
going
I
to get
die.
cheap university because it's subsidized by the government, and then you're just going to piss off and go get a job in the States or whatever.
But they're getting rid of the Department of Education. So this guy is a gold miner. My guy, Canadian prepper, who's any day now, it's all over. He sells food and the like, but he's cool. Says all the money when people lose money or money disappears off the stock market, wiped out. Where does it go? Ends up in precious metals. And I don't know if you follow gold, but gold's at like $3,000. And apparently it's a big marker. They don't talk about it. No one actually talks about it, but he talks it incessantly.
A big marker for what? The downfall of humanity?
No, the market's going to absolute dog shit.
Yeah, all this money is make believe, but gold is holding value, and a lot of countries are amassing gold. There's more going on than we know. These guys didn't talk about.
Warren Buffett sold 100%, and he sold all of his SPY ETF and his Vanguard ETF, and he bought Domino's, which means tough times are ahead.
He thinks a lot of people are going to be getting cheap pizza.
Yeah, well, he also he divested from the top 500 companies in the world, which means, again, rough times are ahead.
This, like I told you guys last week on the post show, exclusively on the Patreon, Estee Lauder saving, was it Estee Lauder, or it was a big cosmetic company laying off 7,000 people. Or Shinola.
Sorry. No, go ahead. Should have tried. No, I don't care.
That was I like when they're arguing over where that came from.
I was going to throw Bone Man a bone because I get why he doesn't want to work with any of these universities. Just to, like, you steal from me twice.
I get it.
You know, once shame on me, twice shame on you. The third time, you're not getting my fucking bones, dickhead.
Fuck off. He's trying to
but at
throw him a bone.
But at that same time, because of these crooked institutions,
you know what it should be?
Just sniffing his hash.
Because of the crooked institutions, we as a people are not getting information because this guy's hoarding his bones.
That's debatable. But I would like to see the saber-tooth skull. But I would like them to swoop in and say, you know what? You only own this much. And below this, you don't own. And take it all away from him.
I don't want
This guy's just a curmudgeon. I don't like him. You guys both saw the movie GoldenEye?
Yeah.
It's the JREE movie game. The time has come again. For Matt and Simon to rack their brains to guess the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JREE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to find out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make it, how much it made at the box office. This week we're doing GoldenEye because this guy was a gold miner, and I've been on the road all week.
I was supposed to remind you about a flag.
I did it, don't worry.
It's tough. And for bonus points, can you name who played James Bond?
It was Pierce
Pierce
Brosnan.
Brosnan.
Wow, you both get the bonus point.
Fun fact too. This is so interesting. So you could make an argument that GoldenEye, the video game, was like the jump off for first-person shooters. And what's really crazy is when they built the game, there was no multiplayer. The guys developing the game built the multiplayer for them to enjoy around the office, and they liked it so much
So crazy
that they begged the studio to let them put it in the game. They were like, please.
Because if that's not in the game, it's
no one gives a
other
fuck.
shooter
No one gives
game.
a
Nobody
shit
cares
about that game.
But the fact that I could shoot you and you could shoot him and we're all playing on the same
Incredible.
screen.
The best.
Fuck yeah.
Double pistols in the fucking...
All right.
Hold on. You have a year, Simon?
Yeah, I have a year.
I too have a year. What year do you have?
I have 1997.
I have 1994.
GoldenEye came out in 1995.
Oh.
Fuck. Those were the years I was torn between. Fuck.
This was the first James Bond to not have anything to do with Ian Fleming. So it's out of his hands as his stories.
I don't want to be a dick. I believe it's Ian.
Fair enough.
Really? This was the first. So he had nothing to do with this one?
Nope.
Okay,
Interesting.
I'm ready.
Can you name all the James Bonds real quick? All the actors? No?
Oh, all the actors. No, there's one guy I couldn't name.
George Lazenby.
Yeah, that's the one you were looking for.
That's it. How much did you say?
I said it cost
He doesn't like his numbers.
47 million, and it grossed 279.
I said it cost 32 and it made 180, but 180 seems way too low now.
Budget 60 million.
Wow, Simon.
Well, I'm still 13 million off.
Well, it's better than
in this game.
better than the 28 million off I am.
Box office 356.4 million.
I was closer, but still well
Made
off.
$1 million every day of the year that year.
I have to remember that this is like the golden age. Anything that came out between like 93
Well, think
and
about how little
2000.
competition it had.
What do you mean?
Well, there's no YouTube. There's no.
I disagree. There's
Entertainment.
well, okay, I agree with you there, but there was more movies. Like when you went to the theater, there was more films trying to grab your attention. Now, when you go to the theaters, you're lucky if there's 4 movies playing.
Did the video game come out the same year as the movie?
I assume.
That's why I pushed it back, because I picked a year and then put 2 years on top of it to try and like give them time to make the game.
No, it must have come
But
out.
it's too long between.
The game was too rudimentary to take 2 years after the film.
Pardon
Bless
me.
you.
Yeah, and you would lose all, like there would already have been another James Bond out by the time you released the game. So no, it had
No,
to come out the
Simon.
same year.
Came out in 97.
Oh my God, what a motherfucker.
It was also the first picture bound by the BMW 3-picture deal that they had to have that car in it.
Kamar,
got it, no
Kamar,
name.
what was the actual release date, if you don't mind? Do you have it in front of you?
Sorry.
Well, he always had a
I
different.
was trying to find out when the video game came out.
Didn't he always have a different car in every movie? Yes.
The first, it came out November 1995.
So it came out end of the year, so that makes a little more sense.
He had a different car in every movie, Kay. This one happened to be the BMW.
It was a product placement deal though.
But in every movie, there was an Aston Martin, there was this.
This when it started. No, it was BMW specifically.
Oh, after this, it's always
no,
BMW.
this movie and the 2 others was BMW.
Oh, okay.
They had a contract.
Oh, yeah.
That's
All
interesting.
I was saying is forever, James Bond has had product placement with cars.
But it was always an Aston Martin.
It really did.
It was always an Aston Martin?
It really did take them 2 years to develop that shitty game.
Because
It wasn't at the same time.
I used to sell toys of cars from James Bond movie. Maybe they were all Aston Martins, just from different years. Did you look that up, or are you just saying that?
I'm saying that pretty sure. I'm going to look it up right now. So any other thoughts on John Reeves, Simon?
I just that he annoyed the fuck out of me, and all I wanted to know about was the bones. And by the time he got to the bones, I had disliked this guy so much that I couldn't even take in the bone information. But like he nothing new. There was nothing new talked about with the bones.
Preach. Talk about it.
It was just him complaining about how he got fucked over, which we all agree with. He totally got fucked over. But like enough of this being a yearly thing. Unless this guy's coming with the skeleton of like Gigantopithecus or something that he finds on his land, I don't want to hear about it. But again, I will say that he danced around the have you ever found human bones on your...
Yeah.
Because Joe said you must have. And he's like, well, a guy in my position must have, but I will not deny, I will not confirm.
Yeah. It's a rumor I made up.
But that's kind of cool. That means he's found like maybe Neanderthal bones or something. I guess it's later than that because woolly mammoths and all those cave bears, that would have been, it wouldn't have been Neanderthals at that point. Excuse me.
He drove 20 cars. 6 of them are Aston Martins.
Interesting.
Okay, so they had a product placement for a while, and were all the other cars different, or you don't know?
I do know. Bentley in Russia from Love. There's a Lotus in The Spy Who Loved Me.
From Russia with Love.
A Lotus Esprit in For Your Eyes Only. Then the 3 BMWs in Goldeneye, Tomorrow Never Dies, and What Is Not Enough. Ford Mustang and Diamonds Are Forever. A Toyota 2000 GT in You Only Live Twice. That was old. That was that sports car with it flew. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was the Bentley Odd Jobs car? You know, the little guy who throws his hat? You know, he comes out of that black car where the doors open both way?
No, it was Bond's first car in the novels.
It was. Okay. There you go.
Simon.
This is just his cars. So that would have been a bad guy's car.
So how does a spy expect to go unnoticed driving a Bentley, by the way?
It's England.
Yeah, everyone drives a
Everyone
Bentley.
drives Bentleys.
How much do you think it cost to make GoldenEye, the video game?
Okay, that's interesting. Because we know the movie cost
I
$60
have
million
no-
2 years before.
I have no
I
idea
say it
how
costs
much it
$5
costs.
million.
How much it costs to make
I
games.
think it costs $5
I
million.
think it costs $48 million.
$2 million.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, but it's the guys
that crazy?
it's the guys in a BlackBerry warehouse with duct tape putting together a video
You know what's-
game.
I thought
what's
video
nuts, too?
games cost a lot of
They
money
do
to
now.
make.
Now they do, yeah. Grand Theft Auto, $2.5 billion all in so far. They sold 8 million copies
At $60 a
at
pop.
$60 a pop or 60 or 70 bucks a pop.
Wow.
Isn't that a crazy return on investment?
Yeah.
And it said they expected nothing.
And that is just a total fluke, just a
Just
lucky
happenstance.
break for Nintendo.
Yeah. The third best-selling Nintendo 64 game of all time.
Number one is Mario, I
I
assume.
would have to assume.
Number two is what, like
Zelda.
Link or Zelda?
I was gonna say
okay.
it has to.
And
That's
then-
we're guessing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, but I
We're
assume
throwing a post
that's
Joe
right.
away here, boys. I'll tell you this though: there are 3 American cars James Bond drove. Can you guess any of them?
Oh, hold on. The man with the golden gun. He drove like a Chevelle or a Corvette.
A Mustang,
I said Mustang. I realized I gave one of them away.
a GT or a whatever. Is that
A Chevrolet Bel Air in Doctor No, and a Ford Fairlane in Die Another Day.
a Ford Fairlane? Really?
What about the movie I said? The man with the golden gun.
Man with a golden gun.
What car is he driving that? He definitely drives an American car.
Well, no, because he just gave you the 3 and one was a Mustang.
I think he's wrong.
Oh, you think the Mustang is from the man with the golden gun?
Simon, we forgot Mario Kart.
That's the
Where
best
does
head
that come in?
It's number 2. So Super Mario 64 is the best-selling 64 game of all time.
Oh, that's 64 game.
yeah.
Not Nintendo game.
No. I said
No, but I'm asking, like, does Mario 3 on the Super Nintendo outsell Mario Kart on Nintendo 64?
I don't know. I can look at the best, but even then, all the Wii games will be way above all those.
They
anyway.
will?
Yeah, 100%.
Just because more people were buying video games at that
What
point.
car did you call it?
I said maybe a Chevelle or a
It was an
Corvette.
AMC Hornet hatchback, which is American. So,
Interesting.
Again, AI gets it wrong. I give Boneyard a 1. Step up to the clock, on the clock, over the fuck curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Just give the bones away to Vance.
Yeah, I give this a 1.
Bones away to Vance.
Advance
Oh.
the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. And especially if you have so many fucking bones, you're not going to miss 25%
Put out
of your
expecting
bones.
nothing and accept all the windfall. Open source it, bitch.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it. That's an episode. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Maybe you're willing to go a step further. It is sweeps month. If you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/JREE podcast. For that $5, you get the post shows, the show we shoot the shit. You'll also get old episodes where we, went back, did the same thing we do here. Moon debate. We might be trash. All sorts of stuff. Patreon.com/JREE podcast. Check us out there. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great week. We didn't even mention the snow, like how fucking absolutely
Because no one cares.
blasted we got
Or
with
people in
Trust
Buffalo
me,
know.
he'll talk
People
about
know.
it in the post.
8
People
feet
know.
of fucking snow. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great week. We hope you have a great weekend. And as usual,
Keep your eyes open.
Ouvert.
Wow, there.